What up, guys? Welcome back to All Gas Podcast. I'm Factor.
Kevin.
And today we got our special guest, LightSpeed Tony. What's up, brother? How you doing?
How you doing, man? Thanks for sitting down. Thanks for coming through.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a minute. We've been trying to get you on for a while. Family lives and stuff.
Stop kicking my ass at the race.
I thought we weren't going to talk about that.
Right? Yeah, we're going to talk about it because we've shot you out in so many episodes.
Right.
Then we got to,
made him famous. No.
Not that famous.
He made me famous.
My Instagram isn't that tight.
And we'll just link that below. Go follow him.
Right. Give him a follow.
He ain't posted in like 6 months, but go follow him.
I post about my races.
Because there's nothing to post about when you only do is break axles.
Oh, one event.
So, okay.
Wait, how many trophies you got this year?
Right? More than he's got axles.
I thought you guys were going to ask that.
I'm surprised he didn't bring him and put him right here.
I should have.
Stack him up on the table.
That'd be funny.
Of course he's got pictures of him.
Watch the whole episode.
He's got, instead of his kids' trophies on the wall, he's got all of his up on the mantle.
I actually do have like one part. I have all my stuff. So since 2010, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 12.
Damn.
12 either wins, runner-up, or semis.
Nice.
Two.
You got what, like 12 second places?
At least 2 or 3.
Whatever he took first and not second, that's what you got second places?
No, I got three podium finishes this year, so I'm really happy with that.
No, I've been racing a Honda since 2009, and that day was the first axle I've ever broken.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, we talked
twice
about
in
that.
one day. And now, to also be fair, I never had a car that could break an axle because it didn't have any horsepower.
Well, because you also were a single cam for a while. Well,
No.
Yeah.
Well, not for a while.
What really broke the axle was the weight of the doors. Took the doors off, and all of a sudden,
I'm breaking an axle. Yeah, that
Because you
single
actually
cam car.
raced my little brother Kavika in the finals in one event.
Yep. Yeah, that car was a 92 DX, totally stock, just lightened with an eBay intake, and I made a makeshift exhaust on it with drag radials. I ran 14 nines.
Yeah.
Just.
I think you broke out on that race, huh?
Hmm?
Did you break out on that race?
I'm sure.
Probably.
Because that car never ran a 14.9.
His car has never been faster than 15.3, so
Yeah, my
it
car
was
was
just consistent. 15.3, 15.3, 15.3.
Yeah, 15, pretty consistent.
See, and you guys talk shit about my 12s.
I never claimed to be anything I'm not. I always had bracket cars because that's what I could afford to have, and I got good at bracket racing.
hell
Because,
yeah, you are.
you know,
That's one thing that I've always said. I'm like, he might not be the fastest out there at the race, but he is consistent as shit.
yeah, you're not going to beat me on the light. And
I might have some time slips to prove that otherwise.
have you?
I think I treated you once or twice.
Wasn't that the day that you treated
If
Red
you treat me, it was by like 1,000.
No.
It wasn't by like 10.
No, it wasn't.
No, that day that we met in the finals, I treated everybody. Nobody beat me off the line. I was on fire that day.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but that's
Wasn't
Since I
that
started
fire?
doing index with the Pro Tree, that's been the learning curve, but I feel like I've gotten better at it. I'm pretty consistent, like 0.1s, some
Yeah.
0.0s, not many.
yeah.
Like a 0.05 is like, I got to get to that to be, because I you know, ultimately
that's where you want to
where I'm going is like once and if Sacramento closes, I'm going to race at Sonoma, the Sportsman Series, and run in the pro class, and those guys are always 0.0 something lights.
Oh yeah, those dudes.
And they get down to like the 100th to 1,000ths on their dial-ins. So it's like,
You got
Well,
it's going to be tough.
Look at the track, what you're comparing though. You got a SAT track to work on, and then you got it there. I mean, that's a way better track.
but that doesn't necessarily change your reaction all the time.
No.
I'm just saying once you get used to a track though, because even like you, when you were at SAC, you're used to SAC.
Yeah.
And then you went down to Fontana and you're like, okay, this is a little bit of learning. And then you got it after your first hit. Yeah.
Well, also the first hit down there, I didn't know if we were going to do Pro Tree or... Because I didn't pay attention because I was so nervous.
Right.
And then I waited a little bit.
0.5.
Yeah, and then, it was like 0.3. It wasn't too bad.
If you see green and you got a 0.3, that's good.
Yeah, and so then I took off, and I was like, okay, we're a Pro Tree, and I came back to the pit. I said, look, it's Pro Tree, so we're good. They're not doing... Because you know how sometimes at SAC they do sportsmen in qualifying for everybody. They run everybody like that, and then they go into qualifying, and then when you're actually in qualifying, then they go to pro.
Oh, you mean during that like practice session?
Yeah. So then I got, actually the last time, that one when we met in finals, a lot of people got thrown off by that, and that's what helped me too, is because they weren't ready for the pro trip.
Yeah.
So I was ready for it, and boom, we just kept going.
Yeah. And usually, for the most part, index is going to be Pro Tree, and then bracket is always Sportsman Tree.
It doesn't help that everyone down there also ran throttle stops for qualifying, and then once we got into finals, it was, we had to take them off now. People are going to complain.
At Fontana?
Oh, yeah.
Into the
Oh,
pits,
yeah, I did that.
Literally walking through the pits, and I'm hearing, well, I'm going to take my throttle stop off and add some time in it. And I'm like, rules say no throttle stops, but it is what it is.
Huh?
Yeah,
Ain't no one going to complain on qualifying. It's qualifying.
Yeah. So
I made it to the semis at DRN last year.
that's it, yeah.
Same thing.
What did you get beat by?
A Nova, a black one.
I lost the blue one.
No, it was a blue one.
I wonder if
I'm gonna bet it's the same.
I wonder if it's the same blue. It's an older blue one
It's the
with
same.
white or silver stripes.
You know what? I bet you it is because Chris Peck knew who he was.
Yeah, it was Jeff.
Hold on.
Jeff Wyman or Jeff Walton or
I
something.
have the footage.
Yeah, I forget his name. It was Jeff something.
What is this one?
I wonder if we can post that video.
Similar. This is an awesome podcast right now.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
We're comparing who we lost to.
Right. I'm gonna laugh. It was the same people.
I'll have to find some a still picture of it.
I don't think you ever got out far enough ahead of me to see it. Because I'm in the right lane, he's in the left. I remember I got to the end and I kind of like, it was a little bit like a 0.1 light and he had like a 0.0.
Yeah, I don't have stills of it anymore.
This classic arm throw.
Yeah, I remember it was a Nova, I remember it was blue, but I don't remember if it had white or silver stripes. But I remember he cut like a 00 light on me and we got to the end and he ran like a 12.52.
That dude hit a 091 on me, and at first, like I had told him, I thought he was gonna play staging games with me because he was taking hell long. Because I lit the pre-stage, he lit the pre-stage, and my rules, I was going second. So I'm waiting for him to go, and then all of a sudden he boom just went in. I'm like, okay, shit, go. So yeah.
I've always staged. I want to be in the first beam first, always, because I want to go into the second beam first. Because I always like to make sure that the car is where I want it to be. Because where you end up is how your reaction time. If you shallow stage it, you'll have a little bit less reaction time than if you get right where you want to be.
That's one thing I really did learn on the last event when I went into the quarterfinals or semifinals against that Black Nova here in SAC. He deep staged me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh fuck. I was like, god damn it, I didn't know he was gonna be like that to me. So I went in shallow like I always do. If you ever watch all my races, I'm barely turning on.
That's how I did it forever.
But yeah, so that's why I started thinking after that. I was like, I think
on a sportsman tree is
is
perfect because you go on the last yellow, and if you're just far enough out, you're a 00 something. But on a pro tree, it's a 4/10 light, and I go in a little bit further, but it's hard. Like it's a guess at best.
Yeah.
But as long as I don't turn off the top bulb, like I know I'm good, and then just as soon as you see.
Well, technically you can do that.
You can, but I think if I did that, I'd start going red. That's the only reason why I don't deep stage. If I thought I could do it, I would.
You know, a lot of people, like I think a lot of younger people, like don't know, but some of the bracket races, the advanced guys, like the Novas guys, they'll know what that is, and sometimes if you get too good at them, they'll complain about it. I have a feeling they would.
I mean, as long as it's not outside of the rules, you can complain all you want.
Yeah.
I mean, if courtesy staging is in effect and all that, then you got to do it. But even with us, a lot of times they don't even do that.
Yeah.
Like you can do whatever you want. You can double bulb. You can wait an hour.
Yep.
Wow.
That's why I like to go in second, because a lot of times in past experience, if you go in first, you're sitting on two-step too long. Or like, or like,
they're burning you down.
I don't do that either.
I burn myself down in a sense, and then I've been to the point where they gotta tell a dude to roll his windows up, and I'm like, motherfucker, now I just unload my car.
They came out of this.
Yeah, we get praise to him in the last one. Now tucks it together.
Hated it.
He can't roll up a window and loses his sunroof. Jeez, yeah. Half track sunroof. Woo!
Like,
Yeah,
it was funny.
He didn't even know. Got back to the pits and he was like,
I'm not trying to ask him. I was like, you lose cabin pressure? He goes, what are you talking about? I go, look at your car. He goes, oh shit.
Put the helmet on.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't have a helmet?
No, no.
He was just in the zone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was in the zone.
Yeah.
He was in the zone.
Well, since we're talking about racing and stuff, do you want to talk about your car at all? Talk about your history of racing, what your current setup is, what your past setups were, where you got started, you know, the history of you and your whole setup, your whole career in racing, I guess.
It's a long story. I'll do it as quickly as I can.
We got time.
And then
camera's plugged in and ain't going nowhere.
You're probably gonna be surprised at how short the real part of it is.
Right?
So I graduated from high school in 1997.
I was born in 97.
I'm old. I'm 40 years old this year.
Right.
And I grew up in Manteca, California, which is a small, or it was like 35,000 people. It was like a farming town.
Yeah.
Everyone's dad worked in agriculture, or like, there was no commuters back then.
Oh.
I didn't know anybody whose family commuted to the Bay Area for work. Everyone either worked in town or maybe Stockton or Modesto.
Yeah.
That was it. And everybody knew everybody, and I never saw a modified Honda until I was out of high school. Like my high school was all muscle cars, trucks, 4x4s.
Yeah. Well, because that was still early in the years too, right?
Yeah.
Roughly.
So like it would be rare, but I never saw one, never heard of it. And so like, and growing up, always into cars, 1,000 Hot Wheels, all the Transformers.
Same. That whole bin right there is full of Hot Wheels.
Yeah, and I grew up in a house, like my mom is an academic. She's
Okay.
got 2 master's degrees, speaks 3 languages. She was an educator her whole career.
Wow.
And for her, like sports, cars, all that stuff was a waste of time. I should be studying. And so like, she wouldn't let me take auto shop. She wouldn't let me take.
Both my parents are teachers.
You know, so I had this thing like, an unscratchable itch. Like I wanted to know this stuff, but I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
But I read every car craft, every hot rod, every trucking, everything I could get my hands on.
Oh yeah.
And when I got to my birthday is June 30th. So I graduated after high school. And my uncle had a small car lot in town. Fumble ground! He had a small car lot, and he would send my cousin to my house with cars, like for me to come buy, because they wanted me to buy a car from him. So the first car he brought me was like an 87 300Z.
Hell yeah.
I was like, and I'm like, get that lame stuff out of here. I don't want one of those.
Right, everyone's got Chevelles and Novas. And
Yeah, I wanted a 5.0.
Hell yeah.
I wanted something, or a Camaro, and
he was trying to get on that Vanilla Ice look.
Yeah.
He wanted that drop top.
If I had a high school picture.
Did you have hair then?
Oh, I had beautiful hair.
All migrated down.
Second car was a Mitsubishi Starion, which it's a front engine, rear wheel drive.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's before the 4G63,
Yeah.
but it's a 4-cylinder turbo.
Yeah.
Really cool car, and if I could go back, I would have bought that car because they were rare and they're really cool.
Yeah.
But I was like, nah. So like the next time I went over to the lot. I wanted to see what they had. And there was a 77.
So how old are you at this time though? You're like right at high
Just
school?
turned 18, like 18 in a day.
Oh, okay.
Right? So this is summer of 1997, and there's a 77 Camaro. Or no, a Trans Am. White with the blue fire chicken on the hood. Big old, like, mag wheels. I'm like, hell yeah.
T-tops.
Yeah, I was growing them all as I was standing there. I was like, yeah.
Bald eagles were screaming.
Yeah.
Take the restrictor plate off so breathe a little more.
The Red Dragon. I was into it. And then, I don't know if I brought it home or like, he like called my mom and like, nope, he's not buying that.
Aww.
And if he does, he can't live here, kind of thing.
Damn.
And so we looked at a couple other cars, and then I see this pickup in the back lot, like not for sale.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Oh, we're getting it ready for sale. When I look at it, it's an '85 C10 step side,
Nice.
white, nice 5-spoke wheels, just clean.
Yeah.
I was like, what about that? And I guess they called my parents and they're like, oh, pickup, okay. But it had a V8, and it had cool wheels, it had the white letter BF Goodrich tires. I was like, okay, mullet's coming back.
Gun rack in the back window.
I don't even own a gun.
It's alright, you can put your super soaker back there.
So bought the truck, and I only had $2,000, and it was $5,000. So my uncle guaranteed the loan with Bank of Stockton. It's for me to pay the last $3,000 off at like 18% interest.
Jesus.
For 2 years, but I had no credit, and at the time I was mad because I was like, why can't you just give it to me? But it taught me responsibility. I went to the bank every month, paid the note.
Yep.
So that was what I had, and I worked at a grocery store in Manteca Save Mart on Main Street. So this is like, remember, summer of 1997, And there's this dude that works there who's got a Milano red 95 Integra GSR.
Yeah.
Ground patrols, Iceman intake,
Still back
DC header, Gretty exhaust. I was like, look at this clown. It's lame. And I at that point I had put, you know, the yellow Axel wire. I put a Flowmaster at the muffler shop. I was like, yeah, I'm cool now.
And the Edelbrock circle intake up on the car. Oh man.
No.
Edelbrock was too fancy back then.
That was too much.
No.
I was bagging groceries. I didn't have any money. But so he's like, oh yeah, your car is cool. You ever go race? And I was like, yeah, right out here, you know, in the country on Austin Road. That was the spot back in the day. And he's like, no, there's a track in Sacramento. You can race on Wednesdays. I was like, what? There's a track? Let's do that.
Yeah.
And so the next Wednesday we were both off. We went up there and paid I think it was $12 back then.
Damn.
And they put you in the lanes. Like 1 and 2 was domestics.
Mm-hmm.
I think 3 was like for pro cars back then. They would let like no mufflers race back then. And then 4 and 5 was the imports. And then like lane 7 was like the theme of the night. You know, Mustang night, Camaro night, whatever it was. And so I went first. And I did everything you're not allowed to do. I pull up, right into the water box, start one wheel peeling it. The guy's still staging in front of me. The guy's banging on the window. Stop. I'm like, what? And, you gotta wait until we give you a clear. I'm doing burnouts, I'm doing burnouts. And like I said, I had just stock radial tires. Like I had no business being back there. And then go up. You know, don't stage right, go too far, back up, do all the things wrong. You know, light goes green. You know, half track, peel out, 1 tire fire, run like a 20-second quarter mile.
Hell yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is not fun. You know, come back around.
Austin Road was better, damn.
Austin Road. Yeah, you know what you're gonna get out there. Yeah. So then I stand there and I watch him go. And he's a little Integra. And he runs like a 15.1. I'm like, how's this car faster than mine? Mine's got a V8, you know?
Right?
And
Still wires, damn it.
yeah, and so like I go again, and I think I get down to like a 16.5 or something, because it had a 305, just a smogger. It had no horsepower, and at that I was like, damn. And he was friends with guys that owned a shop in Modesto called Performance Auto Works, I think it was called. It was like back then there was no eBay. There was
7
no.
years old, so don't ask me.
No, there wasn't.
So if you wanted an intake, you had to go to a shop, and they had to have one there, or they would order it from like a distributor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like there was no such thing.
I was at Redline and Rancho or Midnight and Rancho. Those were the 2 places I went to for parts.
This place was in Modesto, and so this guy got this stuff from them, and he was kind of friends with those guys, and so they had a little crew, and they were like showing me their cars, and there was like an H swap Integra, there was a turboed single cam, and I'm like, damn, these cars are fast. Like these are cars in 13s, 12s. Like back then, that was kind of
Yeah, that
fast.
was fast, yeah.
Like I was looking at like an old vintage race, like Jeremy Lakoski in like 1996, 1 events all motor running like an 11.8.
Yeah.
Like back then, like that was all there was.
It's funny, I was watching IDRC videos last night.
Yeah, I watched all of them.
I was watching them last night on YouTube. I don't know. It just came up, and I was like, yeah, screw it. So I watched them until I fell
It's
asleep
so
last
like
night.
or like Tony Shagday and the old the Integra, like he ran a 12.1 or whatever, and he won the race. I was like, wow, they wouldn't even make it like nowadays.
Well, that was like Gary Kubo when he did the first swap. He was the first B-Series swap into a hatchback here in America.
Really?
Yeah. He was the legit
Was
first
that like
B.
94?
I don't even know what year it was back then, but he was the first B16 swap into an
I
EG
think it was
in
like
America.
I think in the video they do say it was like 94.
Yeah, it was
95.
back then.
Yeah, so like
Because it was like when the EGs kind of like were out, and
Yeah.
they did the first B16 swap into one.
Yeah. So it was the same thing. He ended up winning
yeah,
like 12s, 11s,
Yeah.
14s. I mean, like
it was cool. Like and these guys were cool and racing was cool, and I was like, fuck, I messed up. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I messed up. Like I should have got a Honda, but I got this 2-year car loan I got to pay off.
Yeah.
You know, so 2 years goes by, pay off the truck, and at that point, like I don't know why, but I just never pulled the trigger. I never sold it. I never bought a Honda.
He never sold it. He pulled up in it early.
Right, it's out front.
Out front. I wish I still had it. That thing's worth money now,
Right?
But I always wanted one, and I always went to every I've been going to CMI since '97. I've been going to all.
Jeez.
You know, I went to
I wonder why I can't meet you.
Battle of the Imports and stuff.
Yeah.
When they had those, I went to NIRAs, what they called? NIRAs? There was
Yeah.
there were all these different races
They were
back then.
crazy, yeah.
There was a bunch of them, and I was like, man, I gotta get one of these cars, you know. But I just never could put it together. And then in 2000, I decided to try and do something with my life, so I went to Delta Tech,
Woohoo.
and
That's
it was better than nothing.
Yeah.
So I went there for 2 years, I graduated, and then I went to Fresno State in 2002.
Bulldog.
So I moved from Manteca to Fresno, and I was screwed around for a year, drank all the beer, just did not go there to go to school. And at the end of that year, they asked me not to come back.
Oh wow.
Oh shit.
You drink a lot of beer.
You drink a lot of beer, dog.
And so I had to get a job. I was away from home, you know, and my mom, the academic,
Yeah.
that they were living.
Pissed, yeah.
So I was like, all right, well. So I got a job at Home Depot
Yeah.
in Fresno.
Yeah.
And sure enough, there's a dude there with a white DA, clean.
Oh god.
Did you see that? You hear that? You hear that? DA and clean.
I think, in my personal opinion, DAs are the coolest.
Woo!
I know they'll never be the fastest. I know they're not the most desirable, but I like them the most.
See?
And I'll probably never own one.
See? I've been telling him I want a white DA car power hood with an H2B.
I
And he's like,
had a like.
If you want
you could do
to
it.
drive around, of course.
Yeah.
If you want to race it,
No,
I'll talk you out of it all day.
No, you can do it. Don't expect me to help you work on
See?
it.
Oh,
Shit.
I hate DAs.
I remember that. Remember
I
that.
had one.
What's there to hate about it?
Hey, just remember, next run you run against him, don't be in the right lane, because I'm going to do one tire heavier than the other. He's going wall, not into you.
So,
The DA I had was a shitty one. It just rubbed me the wrong way.
yeah. Well, anyway, his was nice. And his brother had a shop in Fresno called Black Sheep Performance or something. So again, I kind of fall in with this group of guys that are like doing imports. And same thing, like I go hang out with them, they start going to races, we start, you know, this and that. And then go from working at Home Depot to working at like a plumbing supply place. So like, then I get a job working at Milwaukee Tool
Oh, tight.
in 2005 as a like field rep, and they had me move to Sacramento. And when I got the job, they gave me a Ford F-150. And luckily, like, I don't know, like a month before, I wrecked the truck I had, just destroyed it.
Too much drinking, damn it.
Luckily, it wasn't nothing like that. It was just a, you know, bad commute.
Yeah.
But, so I had the money from the insurance for the truck. I had the new job. I had the work truck. And I was like, well, I need to buy a car. So from like 2005 to 2009, I didn't even own a car. I had company cars.
Yeah.
And then the economy went insane. And I lost my job. And,
Milwaukee Tools went to shit.
yeah, well, I'll say that.
That's kind of still some of the best.
Now, they went like this.
Yeah. They sold the company to a company out of Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Which is not inherently bad, it's just, at
No.
the time, they were like, all they cared about was money, and we had a bunch of people in the field, and they weren't selling a lot, so they got rid of a bunch of people in the field. And then I went from doing that to making like $14 an hour as a food and beverage merchandiser, which was rough, but I had to get a car.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna get that Honda finally. And so I started looking for I wanted a barred GSR swapped EG. That's what I always wanted. And I thought, there's gotta be one out there. And I was willing to pay for it, $5-6 grand, like, this is 2000.
At those times, you can kind of get those.
It could have happened, but in the time frame I needed it, I just couldn't find one. And so I started looking at Integras and stuff. And what do I find? I find a Milano Red 97 GSR, lowered. It had a AEM intake. It had a skunk 2 intake manifold, the first generation. It had
the fake type bars.
Yeah, the big type bar manifold. Comptech header, Comptech exhaust. It had Progress Technology springs. You know, it was so nice. I was like, yes, I finally got it. You know, and I drove that as my my work car. Like I went from store to store doing the merchandising every day, and then I started. It's like I had to be the first Wednesday or the first weekend. There was either a CMI or a Wednesday night. I went and raced, and my first time out, 16.3. I'm like, what the heck? My friend ran a 15 in this kind of car back in the day. How come I can't do it? You know, it was just me, like launching a car. I never even driven a car with a manual transmission at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, let's do this, you know?
Yeah.
I know how a clutch works. I can figure this out. I've read about it.
This is my dream. I'm going for
I
it.
can do it. And so we got the car, and that's about the time I just got married, and we were trying to like get financially like back on track. So I was trying not to put a ton of money into the car, but inevitably you do.
Oh yeah.
So like I got a set of Skunk 2 Pro C coilovers like on a deal from Dennis and Marissa off of Marissa's car.
Yep.
Chris hooked that up.
Nice.
I guess go back a little bit. That first year, so 2009, I get the car, I figure out how to do it, and within that year I'm winning races, winning CMIs, going rounds, doing all that stuff.
I know you can't beat him.
Yeah, you've been doing it.
He's been winning before you even got into a Honda.
Before I get your driver's license.
That's some shit.
Got my license in 2008.
Okay,
Close.
so right about that time, I think I must have beat Red or Vince from LightSpeed because all of a sudden they wanted to, who's this white guy that is beating us. And we start hanging out, going to meets, hanging out, in the back of both those guys on the weekends. And after one of the races, Chris, hey fool, you want to join? I'm like, yeah, sure do.
Yeah.
And so he calls me a couple days later, and we get to talking, and he's like, we're just a bunch of guys that like the same thing, and it's like a family. If you want to be a part of it, we'd love to have you come to the barbecue or whatever. And we go to the house and get along, like my wife gets along with everybody, and I'm in. These are like my adopted family now.
So you actually joined LightSpeed when? What year?
It was either late 09 or early 2010.
Okay.
I forget. It's somewhere around there. And then that's when the influence started.
Chris broke you in. He was your
Luckily, they know I don't play that.
right.
So no sing it's this way. Like that never happened. So they didn't want to scare me. We run away. So we started doing little things. So do the suspension. I put a new exhaust because the exhaust was all rusted out and falling apart. Finally got a chipped ECU, got it tuned at DNR with Dave. Because it was just running on the stock P72 with that manifold. So it never really ran, I guess, the way it should.
Yeah.
And as soon as he tuned it, we
I'm just checking.
went from running like 15 7s to like 14 9s. And then we did one of the velocity stack intakes out the hood. And then my car looked as much like Red's car as I could. Just I wanted it to be just like his.
Has Red really had that car that long, that black one?
He bought it brand new. 2001.
Oh, that's right, he did. That's right.
Yeah, that car is never owned by anybody else.
Dope.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So that was kind of like my, okay, it works for his car. But his car he had a V20 VTEC and pistons and rods. Like he actually had some stuff.
Yeah.
Mine was a 190,000 mile original, GSR motor. So I had that all the way until 2013. So I've been winning races. So all those races I was saying. So what was that? Fall Fling 2010, March Mayhem 2012, Fall Fling 2012.
That's what's crazy is you still have all of your wins from then still listed.
March Mayhem 2013.
Later on, send me a screenshot of that, and I'll post that on here so that everyone can see it.
So March Mayhem 2013, Tony and them, they had gotten some I think either Chris or maybe Street to Track. Somebody helped get some sponsors involved. And Ground Control, which is located up in El Dorado Hills, they sponsored the bracket class. And if you won, they were going to give you a set of coilovers.
Oh, that's cool.
And I had an Integra, so they had that one there. And so they gave it to me with the trophy when I won. So after the win, we're driving home, and I lived in Pittsburgh at the time. And I was going to go down through Vacaville with Vince and Red and those guys and drop them off and then head home. Stop at Applebee's for dinner, come out, car's gone.
Oh.
Every tool I own, my table, my chairs, my jack stands, my helmet, my slicks, everything, because when I would race back then, I didn't have a trailer, so
everything went in the car.
The driver's seat only, you could fit so much stuff
Yeah.
in those cars.
People don't understand.
People wouldn't believe it.
A lot of shit in these cars.
And I had stiff suspension, so it didn't bring the car down. So I come out and, you're in disbelief at first. You think, I thought I parked over here. You walk to the other side of the restaurant, it's not there. I thought I parked, guys. I think someone stole your car. I was like, oh no, And then it sets in, and then you call the cops, and they come, and no. Well, did you have an alarm? No. Did you have a club? No. What, and I don't know. I just felt like the cop was like, how did you not lock this car up? I was like, well, I'm sitting inside this. We're gonna be here for an hour.
I had that happen. I had a DA that I had bought, and it was right here on my driveway.
Yeah.
Got broken into. stole my stereo, stole my registration, stole my, like, everything out of the car.
Yeah.
But left the car, doors are open, hatch open, cops show up. Well, why was it out here? What do you mean? It's my driveway!
I felt like I was kind of on trial a
Yeah.
little bit. But then, so do the report, you know, wait 2 weeks. Finally, they found it. But before they even found it, like the insurance company's like, well, it's gone. We'll give you $5,000 for your trouble. I was like, ugh. And then the Fairfield police called me, hey, we found your car. It's at this tow yard. Come claim it. Nothing was left. They crashed it. They took everything that was worth anything. I was like, ugh, this is gonna be too much work to put back together again. So I'll take the $5,000, you know. And so that's 2013. And at that point, my wife and I are like wanting to start a family. So I was like, I guess I should get a 4-door, like a family car. And so I was gonna get a 4-door Integra because Skip from LightSpeed, he had a really nice one with like a Type R motor, and it was clean. And he would sell it to me for $5,000. I was like, do I want another car that's gonna get stolen? Because it was just too fresh.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I went and bought a 4-door Volkswagen GTI. The plaid interior, and my head was in the wrong spot. Like I was like, I don't want another Honda.
Well, yeah, you were still
I need
fresh out of
something
a...
with 4 doors. But then, like literally, the next race, CMI North vs South 2013, I got runner-up in turbo bracket in that car.
Nice.
And I raced that car. Oh, that was it. That's that year.
It was 13.
Yeah, and then I forget what year it was and when it was, but a typhoon hit the Philippines, and most of the guys in LightSpeed are Filipino, and so they arranged a fundraiser at DNR. There was a dyno day, car show, and Dave had donated a car he took on, I think trade or something.
Yeah, that was the day we were just talking about with the dyno day.
And they were raffling it off. So I bought 2 raffle tickets, I won the car.
Yep.
And that was the car I used to have.
Oh, the 4-door?
Yeah, so like it must have been 2014 that happened. And then I started racing that car. Just bone stock, you know. And then 2015 my daughter was born. And so for sure I wasn't spending any money on the car.
Yeah.
And I started making it light. I started about an eBay intake. I made a little custom MagnaFlow, you know, muffler, like dump under the car exhaust, you know, test pipe.
Yeah, just something.
Something to try and they could do something. And then this guy, Brian Feathers in Vacaville, or Dixon, hooked me up with a set of Nitto NT05 drag radials on 14-inch Steelies. And I had HX wheels. So I went to the tire shop, I swapped them over. Put the drag radials on the HX wheels. Okay, they're light.
They are.
And I would literally just put it on the chip, full red line, boom!
Just like, no.
Because it was a stock clutch. It would slip just enough. And my right foot never would come off the gas.
Awesome.
Boom, boom, boom. You know, actually, boom, boom. I never got to 4th. It only went like 78 miles an hour, like a quarter mile.
He says it's boom, boom, but we're...
The little.
And eventually it won too many times. I put a Yonaka clutch in it. That thing worked.
Did it?
Yeah, it was fine. I was pleasantly surprised. But anyway, that's when I started racing Kavika a little bit, and that's when I started running into you guys a little bit. And then...
Well, see, because I had seen that race, right? And Kavika knew of you first, I believe. And then I actually met you at Drag Race Nationals last year.
Okay. Yeah, I would have been more in the bracket area.
It was when you first kind of went K.
Yeah.
And then I kind of, because I went down to spectate because, you know, it was a big race.
Whoa. We don't know what motor he has. He hasn't released what his setup
Who has
is.
a K?
Hey, see? My name's Kevin K.
No.
Tony has me.
It's pretty obvious.
I would not want
motors
you in my
car.
engine bay.
Why not? I run good.
Yeah.
Flintstone that shit.
So.
Stop talking about foot races. We're talking about foot races.
I'll do foot races.
Right, anyone down?
So you're telling me that we're going to go to the next boat event together and I'm putting money on you?
Maybe not. Give me some. It's been a couple of years of
We're going to go to the gym first?
drinking and eating my kids' mac and cheese too much. So, oh man, kid food is good. Oh, I'm almost gained like 25 pounds since my daughter was born.
That's why the car got lightened.
I'm not getting lighter. So
That's what I said.
The car's gotta get lighter.
More fucking tacos. Fuck this shit. I'm making this car lighter.
Yeah. So the plan with the old car was always El Cheapo. I was going to do a B20, put an eBay turbo on it, get a good
How'd
fuel
you get
system.
this hatch?
We'll get there. That's the best part of the story. So.
That's not. But yeah, not for me.
Well, yeah, for you,
right?
For you, it's the worst part.
Yeah. Good for you.
So Vince Ferrer, who lives in Vacaville, he was like the guy that kind of got me into LightSpeed, and he's always been my kind of like crew chiefy kind of guy. He always would be my consigliere. I would always give him my dumb ideas, and he'd tell me why I shouldn't do it.
Yeah. Don't do this.
Oh,
yeah. Is he that for
But
you?
did you actually listen?
Always.
Hey, have I not been listening the last year?
No.
Actually, always.
I'd say half.
I've done a few stupid things.
I'd say maybe half.
No.
Yeah. So I would pose all these half-baked ideas to Vince, and he was like, you're gonna blow it up. You're not gonna like it. Like, you like to race. You like to win.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna do either of those things with a blowed-up B20 with an eBay turbo.
You can't blow up a B20. Them are unblowable.
Well. So I listened, and I didn't do it. I kept on racing with the single cam. And then at one point, I finally like, hey babe, to my wife, like, I'd like to spend $5 grand.
You just had to Vince, right?
Yeah.
You're talking to Vince?
We just went through. I was talking to Vince on your car.
Hey, what about having to do this now?
No, I was telling my wife.
Podcast is going a whole
Yeah. You want to tell us anything?
Not on this show.
Different show.
Tune into our another channel.
Yeah. I'm not involved in that channel.
But I told her, this is what I'd like to do. It'll probably be about $5 grand. And she's like, yeah, but yeah, go ahead. You earned it, you know. I was like, cool. So me and Vince started concocting the plan, how we're going to get a GSR motor or an LS motor or something.
Some kind of squad.
Build something B-Series that makes sense, put a little turbo on it, and go race 1150s or 1250 index, whatever it may be. And I was out of town for work. I get a text with a picture of the car I have now. Just a picture of the engine bay with like an engine half falling out of it. And he's like, dude, this thing's for sale for $2,500. It's got the motor, it's got the swap, the mounts, it's got everything you need except wiring, plumbing, axles, brakes.
one of those deals, huh? It's got everything you need, but everything.
Yeah. Oh, and also at that point too, I started kicking around the idea of doing a K-swap. And we were pricing it out, like how much really would it cost to do it right once? I think we came up with like $7 grand, like all in, full retail for everything.
Yeah.
So this would have been what, like 2015 then?
I think it was 16.
16.
16 we started talking about it.
Yeah, so that's
And then 17 is when this whole thing actually happened.
Yes,
So
because 17 was when.
it was like April of 17, I get the text about this car that's available. And
So the car, yeah, because the first event, I went to my first event August of 17.
And I had the car.
And that's when Kavika won. No, when he raced you. What car was that? That wasn't in your white. Oh, it was in your red hatch, was it?
they're both red hatches.
Oh,
I might not have raced them though. It might have been somebody else.
No, yeah, you raced Kavika in the
What year is it
final.
now? 19?
Because that was mine.
Yeah, it was next year. It was 18 then.
Yeah, because that was mine and his first time ever at the track, and he went all the way into the finals and he won.
It's me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it was the next year then. So it was April of 18 when I get the text about, hey, this car is available. The motor is good. He did a compression test on it. The title was legit. There was no fees on the car.
What was in it?
A K20.
It was a K?
K20Z1.
Oh, okay, 20, okay.
And it was 1320 Performance was selling it because they used it to mock up all of their
his
parts.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't need the car anymore. But they'd taken everything off of it that was worth anything shy of the engine and the mounts. So I got it.
Still have those mounts?
Hmm?
Still have those mounts?
Yeah. They were not 1320 mounts, they were
Oh.
Hossport mounts.
Okay.
Well, it matters anyways. 1320 just copies everybody else.
I don't want to get into that
That's
too
why I
much.
said we don't know.
I'll say this. There's a market for everything. And if I was 17 today,
I was gonna say,
it would be awesome to
I
have
know-
1320.
I know Jeff personally. Jeff's a good guy. I worked with him
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
But that whole, I'm gonna buy your product, copy it, sell it for half of what you do, I'm not with. But like you said, there is a market for every part of it.
There
Yeah.
is. I don't. the way I see it is what we can produce on this show is we talk to FCS. We haven't talked to them yet, but we're gonna try to talk to bigger.
Yeah, it's a sensitive subject.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a sensitive for everybody. It's
I don't care for it. I don't support it 100%, but I get what it is. I get why it exists, and
I can't really say that because I have to throw a hand on my car.
so do I.
That's what I'm saying. Like
We'll get to that because that's a funny story.
In time, it's gonna
and eventually I'll get a good one. But
yeah.
So Vince and I are talking about so what will it cost to make this car run?
Yeah.
And we priced it out, and it'd be about $5,000. So I'd say, hey, these are the two choices. This car's already got an engine, and my car doesn't. And she's like, well, what do you think? I was like, I think the K-Series thing sounds like a good idea. I want to do that. It sounds like I'm starting from a much better starting point.
Yeah.
I'd rather have that one, and also the other car I'd crashed, and I put it back together I put it in myself.
Yeah.
So I guess that car should probably go. And so Vince and I are figuring out how to do it. We're talking with Jeff, and behind my back, my wife texts Vince, like, hey, I want to do this for him as a surprise. Let's get the car. So while I was out of town, they planned on doing it, and somehow, I called or texted Vince in the middle of it, and he thought that I knew. So he starts telling me, and then he pulls the trigger, and I go, hey, babe, guess what? I was like, well, how do you know? I was like, oh, shoot, sorry. It was unfortunate. It was the nicest thing anyone's ever done for me.
that's cool though.
If my wife watches this, thank you, babe.
Right?
I love you.
If y'all can ever get a wife like that, do it.
Yeah,
That's nice.
I've got a real ride or die. She made me. If it wasn't for her, I'd be loading boxes in a warehouse in Lathrop somewhere, with a busted back and a rented apartment probably.
Hey, gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. Well, no. Now we're going to there.
Right.
Yeah. So we get the car, and Vince picks it up because I'm out of town, and when I get back, I go see it, and it looks way worse in person than the pictures.
They always do.
I'm like, dude, are you sure this was a good idea? Can we sell this right now? And because I kept it at his house, and I had my car at his house, and I was like, we can't have both cars here, man. You got to sell this one.
Sell one of them, get her something.
And so we sold the other car for like $1,000 to a dude from Sacramento. Just let it go, and we put our list together. We gave the list to Chris. Chris hit up Tri-State Motorsports in New Jersey, because they're helping him out on his program, and said, hey, we got a guy, he's going to do this is what he needs, and they gave me a little deal.
My diff is actually from there.
Cool.
I was from Tri-State.
Yeah, so I got, my shifter cables, I got the, all the K-tuned things you need to put the radiator, the fuel stuff, I got all that stuff from them, and, I started doing things fast, hastily.
Yeah.
Making bad decisions. Doing things that Vince told me not to do. And I'm forcing this thing to happen because August is coming and I wanted to race at that 530 up in Reading.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, that's the race where we debut. That's where it's happening. One way or another, it's happening. So everybody needs to get on board,
Yeah.
So Vince and I are working on it every day. And we get to the last day, and we were like done. And start it, won't stay on. Start it, won't stay on. What the hell's going on? And luckily one of us looked over and saw, as soon as you fired it up, the fuel pressure was, so the regulator was bad. So, got a regulator, fires up, runs nice and smooth. Okay, now we got something. Head up Edwin at DNR, and he's like, yeah, bring it down. Get it tuned, makes I think it made 223 at the wheel, something like that. 161 torque, something like that. And it ran really well. But he's like, hey, but the two-step won't work. I'm like, why won't the two-step work? And we're going through it, and finally he's like, oh, this is not a 0204, this is a 0506 transmission. It's got different vehicle speed sensor.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to buy this little
magnetic one
box converter, convert the signal.
Yep.
And I was like, well, I'd already rented the RV. I'd already told everybody I was coming. I already made all these plans. Well, screw it. We'll just go.
Racing on two-step.
We'll race it on two-step.
Yeah.
Go up. First hit, around 12.9. Feels pretty good. Every pass after that, I missed third gear. Can't get to go in third gear. I was like, fuck, dang it,
Yeah.
We didn't have to be friends by then because, you know, my second gear is just...
Yeah. So we get back, we look at it, and Vince is like, oh, well, this cable's not right, and nothing's tightened up. Like, everything was wrong. We get it all back in pretty good. I think we bought the Speed Factory shift stiffeners,
springs, yeah.
Drop those in, that helped
The
a
D10
lot.
springs, yeah.
Not the D10 springs, the shift selector springs.
Oh, yeah.
The ones that go-
Yeah, the ones with little balls.
No, those are the D10 springs.
Oh, those are the which ones?
These are, you pull the shift selector.
Oh, yeah,
Those
okay,
two.
okay.
Yeah, those are the ones you have to drop the transmission and
Yeah.
we're like, we work so much on this, we're not doing that now. When we do the clutch, we'll do that, you know. So we put those in and now I'm shifting, now I'm winning races. And I'm running pretty consistent, 12.5s, like it's doing all the things I wanted. Ultimately, I wanted to be 11.5. That's what I wanted, that's always been the goal. And I didn't get there.
So is that still, that's still your...
That's still the end all be all for me, for now.
For now.
Well, okay.
You always want to go faster once you hit your number.
I do, but once you go faster than that, you start getting into like real racing.
Okay, well this is
And
what...
real safety and
This
real,
is-
you could really kill yourself at
Yeah.
100 miles an hour.
This is, so now that are we kind of caught up on the story a little bit to where we're at today?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 18.
Oh, there's one more good part of the story. So, there's that race in, what's that town? It's in Stockton. It's like an old airstrip. And they do like Kingdom drags.
Lodi.
I'm like, and
Stockton, Lodi.
my dad.
You're better off racing on the street right here, bro.
No, I know, but my dad raced back in the day at Vernalis, at Kingdom.
Yeah.
And my wife's dad, his friend races a bug at these races, and like I was like, it'd be fun to go race with my wife's dad, and my dad come out. So I'm reading the rules, and one of the rules are the car has to be registered and insured. That's what it said.
Have you seen the cars that go
Never
there?
been there.
I know a lot of these cars aren't registered.
Yeah, I don't know how much they enforce it, but I was like, well, I think we could pull this off. I mean, so I go to the DMV, and I went online, I think, and we got the car smogged, and I paid all the money.
I just smoked it.
Magic.
Put it on rollers and anyway.
Yeah, you put it on the thing, and then the guy like plugs it in. Yeah,
Good to go.
it's good to go. So I paid the money that it cost
They put the sniffer in the open header.
for a magic smog. I paid for that, and then I paid for all, and then it turns out there were some back fees, so I ended up paying like $900.
Oh, jeez.
When it was all said and done. And I'm waiting, and no registration comes in the mail. No tags come in the mail. What the hell? So I'm looking at the car, and I don't know, finally I pulled the registration out, and I'm looking at the number on it. I'm looking at the number on my firewall. It's not the same number.
Oh.
So then I think, okay, well let's so I checked all the VIN numbers on the car. And all the VIN numbers on the car matched. But the paperwork I had was wrong. But it said 1992 Honda Civic. I was like, all right.
Oh.
So I called Vince. I said, hey man, is there a chance we have the wrong paperwork? And he's like, no, I checked it. That's right. I was like, so I shoot out to see Jeff at 1320. And I'm like, hey man, you don't know me? Because I never met him. Vince did the transaction for me. And I was like, but I bought that car and I've got a title and I got a car, but they're not the same. I'm not saying you did anything on purpose here, but is it possible you have another car with another title? He's like, no, because at first he was like,
Fuck you.
no, he didn't say that.
No,
He was dismissive, but he was like, there's no way that happened. I would never do that. You must have an extra title somewhere. And I was like, no, I don't. I've got one.
And so the title of the tan car.
Luckily, I could see a white car from where I'm standing.
Was it like an off-white EG hatch?
With H2B stuff in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey man, can we just check the VIN number of that car? Just for fun. Can we see if it matches this one? And he's like, I guess, but it's not it. Guess
Lo and
what?
behold.
That's it. I'm like,
hey, I just paid your registration, bro. Give him some money.
so he's like, I'm so sorry. He was like really cool, and he's like calls his wife, like, hey man, she shoots over, brings the paperwork. Okay, we're good. You know? And I'm like, not for nothing, but I'm out $900 making this happen. And he's like, well, I never would have done that, so I'm not going to give you $900, but do you want any parts? And in my head, I'm like, not really. But, you know. But I'm like, you know, I was like, all right, you know, he's making it after a year. I'm here. So we ended up deciding he's going to give me one of the 1320 hood exit headers for my trouble. And the other car did have no back fees, and it was nothing to get it set up. So
Your car?
the car I have now, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, they must have had both titles there that day, and they must have just mixed them up or something.
Yeah.
So it wasn't malicious, it wasn't on purpose.
No.
But it was weird, and that's how I ended up with the 1320 hood exit header. Because when I got the car, it came with a...
Aren't those headers only like $300? Your registration was $900?
No, he sells them for like $799 or something. I wasn't made whole. I wasn't made whole. But I wasn't as far away as I was.
Yeah.
I understand that. You just want to get over.
I just wanted to be done with
just
it.
Get your, yeah, I got you.
And at
that's
that
kind of
point,
me, like, just get it over with.
Get it over with.
Just yeah.
And it was at that point I
Yeah.
decided I'm not going to register this car. I went and non-opt it. It shall never be driven on the street. It's on my trailer, and that's where it's going to live.
Still non-op to this day?
Yep. So I'm not going to be racing at Kingdon anytime soon.
Yeah.
You could drive there with no plate. You can literally trailer
I might
and
try.
take your plates off.
Yeah.
I don't see them.
Yeah.
Like, there's a tube chassis.
They do it down in Fresno too.
That goes there every race? It's a Corvette.
Jeff Lutz's car has a VIN number and registration. And that thing was made in Missouri.
Yeah.
Oh, Mad Max.
Yeah. Like that. It does.
Yeah.
So you can, you know, whatever. But anyway,
Well,
so that's the funny part. And so the car is a 93 CX hatch with a K20Z1 full swap engine and transmission. The K20Z1 transmission has a 4.7 final drive, which is a little bit, I guess, better, because the other one's a 4.3, I think, something like that, or 4.4, whatever the stock.
I think it's a
4.6
4.4. I could be wrong, but I think it's a 4.4.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure you guys.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking your language. So, you know, I mean, before.
What's an EP3?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, as it turns out,
It's about the same power as an H.
a little weird, not even, like 160.
It's about what his makes.
Oh, it does not.
205.
No.
Yeah.
I don't make 205.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Stock as can be. You've never looked under the hood of my car, huh?
I have. You can't see. Just
Internal.
You can't
Stock,
see.
it's, dude.
Is it really?
I have a
Yeah.
stock H rail on an RBC manifold that I just made a bracket for.
Yeah.
Stock injector. I built my car with no help, with no money,
No
like
vents.
going to pick and pull. Yeah, no vents.
I went to pick and pull every week.
He knew me then.
For a
He
while.
wanted to beat me up
I
then.
didn't like him at the time. Like,
I still don't like me, but
I still don't like him. No, it was when I built my car. I was reaching out to people, and at the time, nobody was like around me. The people I was with weren't doing anything. I was getting half-ass answers, no nothing. So a lot of what I did was trial and error and doing homework. And that's why I tell a lot of these younger people, like, dude, do your fucking homework. It's trial and error. And I had to, because
I
everyone's
had
like,
to learn quick how a K-Series worked.
yeah, people were like, oh, K-Series, you can't put an H-rail on a K-Series. It's like, I fucking figured it out.
Yeah.
Fucking
you can do it.
my uncle that I used to work with, you know, that lives next door to me, I was like, hey, how can we do this? And I was like, we could just put a bracket over there and this and that. And he goes, yeah. All I did was drill one hole bigger, made a little like S bracket kind of thing, and it fucking holds.
Nice. Yeah, that's kind of.
One time. Hey, you know what's funny?
The bearer of invention.
Before Drag Race,
Sometimes you got to do it.
Before Drag Race Nationals, it was funny because after I put the motor back in, I go test. You know, he tells me, hey, go make a test, make sure it's cool. So I'm like, yeah, you know, I agree. Go drive.
Yeah.
So I'm driving around my neighborhood and doing a fucking pull, and all of a sudden it starts cutting out. I'm like I'm running out of fuel. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I was like, oh crap. So I'm like, well, I did drain all the gas, so there's probably none in there. Let me go to the gas station. So I started making it to the gas station. I get to the gas station, and it's. I'm like, what the fuck's that noise?
Oh my God.
I pop open the hood. Car's still running and fuel's just dumping everywhere. I'm like, yo, turn it off.
I'm out.
At a gas station.
At a gas station. I turn it off.
Not only are we taking out the car, we're taking out the neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm taking out the block.
You even sound like
I'm
a
leveling the block.
terrorist. Someone's gonna shoot you.
Dude, I'm leveling the block. So I
Oh
turn
my
off the
God.
car, and then this dude was getting out of his car at the same time. This older guy, he's like, bro, you alright? He goes, I just got out of my car and see fuel spraying everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, bro. I'm like, that's crazy. Don't smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, right?
Put that out. And so I was like, shit.
That's
so,
scary.
So, and it was like, because I had got off work early, so I was just messing around, and then I was like, oh, shit, I'm at the gas station, I'm like a mile from my house, I'm like, fuck, got no tools. So I call my mom, I'm like, hey, where you at? She's like, I was just getting home. I'm like, I need you to bring me some tools now. Bring me this,
Hey, ratchet to 10 mil.
I was like,
done.
call. I was like, FaceTime, I'll get your stuff. And so she comes.
We can pull with.
Right.
And I'm trying to figure out what's going on because I noticed that it popped on, so I thought, oh shit, something broke or something.
Like an
Right?
injector popped up?
Yeah, and that's what it was. It was
Yeah.
squirting from the injector or whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, what the hell? And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, wait. So she brings me tool, I just tighten up the thing, goes, boom, and then ain't had a problem since. I was like, really? And I had talked so much shit about
You would have swore.
my bracket.
You would have
was-
bet a paycheck.
Yeah, that it would
was
never
fine.
break. That's fine. It's lasted so long, you know, all the abuse I've given that car. And then
Yeah.
this finally just backed
I've done
up.
that
And I was like,
before.
man.
I would always swore up and down. I did
Well,
something.
that was the
I
same thing when
pulled
that
up all tight and
happened.
it
When I
was
told him to
fine.
go, drive, he was like, it should be fine. We didn't mess with nothing. All we did was pull the motor. He's like, I was like, just go drive it, make sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
I get a text message like an hour later.
Hey, man.
Shoot!
Send him a picture of the engine bay.
Man. I've sent Vince 1,000 of those. Hey, I dropped my jack one time. Like I had it up, and my jack it slipped off where it was, and it wedged itself between the transmission and the radiator.
Ooh.
And I was like, "Oh, are you home? Bring a jack or two."
Yeah,
Luckily,
that's one thing I always preach though. Every time you get ready to race, preparation.
No,
Always
yeah.
check
It's fine.
everything.
I
Dude.
don't know.
So after the first couple races, I wasn't hitting the number I wanted. Like I said, I wanted to run 11.5, and I was running like a 12.4.
Mhm.
And I was like, so in my head, I'm thinking, well, maybe we'll switch to E85. Maybe that'll get me there. Which was a stupid idea. But I went through it, and I got,
Want water?
yeah, if you don't mind. It's warm in here.
Yeah.
So I bought a set of 1,000cc injectors, got some Sunoco
You got beer?
You don't do that on podcasts.
E85R.
No, we said before podcast, not Harry.
Oh, after the last time.
You know, I take it back down to Edwin, and he retunes it, and we go from like 223 to 236, I think. I was thinking, dang, that's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not even close. But the other problem we always had was the car ran hot, always. I had the K-tuned swivel neck thermostat housing. Don't do that. I don't blame them necessarily, but
I blame them for everything.
the machining on the inside wasn't quite right, and so the clip that
Huh. You wonder why I'm rolling my eyes? I'm an H guy, and I didn't even know about K6, K2.
the thermostat kind of wedged itself in there.
They sure do have an issue with R&D for some reason.
Well, the simple solution was I popped it off, I pulled the thermostat out and threw it away and put it back together. And then between that and switching to E85, the car never got hot again. Actually, the other problem.
My car likes
It's too
hot.
cool.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
My car likes hot.
Yeah.
What's hot to you?
It just like, you know how like, it just like when you stand over the car, I don't even have a temperature, that's not like stock Mercedes. Well, I have a temperature gauge, but it never overheats.
Okay.
But just the normal heat, if you can feel it, it runs a little hotter than
Okay.
normal.
Yeah.
It likes it. When it's cold, it runs like dog shit.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know why, it's just
Damn you,
works.
Chad. Fix your fault.
thick oil, if it's not hot enough, it'll
Yeah.
slow things down a little bit.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're doing, and
That's what I figured.
I don't know.
But I don't know. it
things
works.
could be expanding a little bit to make it just right. Yeah.
What I was gonna say is because we had this conversation about bracket racing
Mm-hmm.
and trying to get more people involved in the sport.
So we had actually spoken about this. After the Chad episode, you were like,
So, okay.
My point is, so you're saying you want to go 1150 and you kind of want to stay there. The point is,
Yeah.
like we were also talking about progressing. I don't want to stay in a 1250 bracket. I
you don't want
want
to stay in an index bracket. You
I
want to go
want
in
I
AMP.
want to eventually fall, but I understand there's levels to where you build a car and everything. Not
Yeah.
being a baller like Rob Beasy, shot out last episode.
Well, easy.
But you know,
He's driven.
yeah, he's driven, motivated.
Him
you know.
and Jeff. Well, you can't really say anything bad about either of
Oh
them.
no, for sure. But I'm just what we talked about was kind of like how people kind of like not saying it's a bad thing because I don't see why you don't just stay like you want to go 1150 and you're probably gonna stay there for a while. Why not keep pushing forward to get out of that?
Okay.
Using it basically, I'm using this as a stepping stone, and you're kind of like not necessarily doing that, kind of
So,
opposite in a way.
my reason is purely, it's two things. Number one, financial.
Mhm.
You can build an 11.5 index car
Cheap.
for $15,000 or less and never have to touch it again other than put oil in. I don't do anything in my car.
Yeah, same thing.
I change the oil, I check the spark plugs, that's it. I tighten bolts if I think the compliance bushing on the driver's side fell off on the dyno.
Nice.
I swapped out the front lower control arms for spherical ones,
Yeah.
and when I put them back, I didn't really.
Yeah.
I don't want a torque wrench, so my
This is my torque wrench.
I always overdo it,
Good.
and so I'm like, don't overdo it, don't just do it just enough, and like it fell off on the dyno. So
Damn.
anyway, safety. The faster you go,
The more safety you
the
have.
more safety you have to have, but also the more real danger there is. And I don't want to scare anybody, but for me and my wife and my daughter,
Well, yeah, there's a difference hitting a wall at 80 and hitting a wall at 180.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
no,
a
for sure,
total
for sure.
difference.
that was kind of the compromise that we made. Is I'm not going to ever have my car go, I think, more than 120 miles an hour on the quarter mile. Maybe 122 with the most.
Yeah.
Like right now I'm at 110, 111.
Yeah.
And
Have you even seen ones yet?
of course you have. He's running with me.
Yeah. Right with him, yeah.
So
Kinda.
12-2 at 110, baby.
It's a financial reason and a safety reason. Just
Yeah.
if I died because I was out racing, I couldn't do that to my wife.
Well, here's the other argument is, well, it's a track. You're supposed to be safer than the streets. Because like if we're talking about the streets, I would totally understand. But we're talking about track here, and this is where it's supposed to be safe. And this is where the way that like public and society make it seem is don't do it on the streets. Just do it on the track. It's way
So,
safer.
There's a
But
difference
you
in
can
safety
still-
though.
Yeah,
But the thing
racing
is,
on
I
the
feel-
street.
There's two different types of safety,
Yeah,
street versus track.
Yeah.
Street, your
It's not
safety
your
is
safety,
other
it's
people.
Other people. At the track, it's
Yeah.
you.
It's a
one other guy who signed the same deal with the
Yeah.
devil that you did.
Yeah.
And if you should hit each other, you know,
That's
we
what
both
happened.
agreed that that's going to happen, and so be it.
Yeah.
But on the street, if you hit someone walking across the street with a baby,
Yeah, that's one thing.
Like-
But I don't promote racing in
Yeah.
the streets. Like if going to Mexico on a Friday night.
well, I guess
in-
let's talk
in
about that a little
No
bit.
area, yeah.
Street racing
What's your opinion on that?
gets a very bad rap because the
dumb
only
people do
bad
that.
things I've ever seen was two dummies racing their mom's Camrys, doing something when they shouldn't be doing it in a place they shouldn't be doing
So
it.
you were in an arch tonight that Slaughter hit the pole drunk?
No, I've been to
You remember that guy?
no.
Sergeant Slaughter? He was the camo hatch that used to run around Arch and...
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did he die?
No, he still runs. He actually has a shop in Antigua?
It's meant to be.
Okay. Yeah.
He's
So
doing drifting now.
okay. So I started off with
Okay.
street racing, Arch Road. We would do Austin Road in Manteca.
Yeah.
We would do Mountain House.
Yep,
Tracy, yeah.
This is no secret to anybody.
No,
I'm not,
yeah.
like
Yeah,
getting it out of the bag. Off the Tracy
You
Boulevard.
could Google all those.
Yeah.
You can't even get to those places.
Back when I was doing it, like out at Mountain House, like the security people
Yep.
had little yellow geo trackers with blinking
Yep.
lights on them, and they'd turn on the light for whoever won.
Well, that was the same
Oh,
thing.
fuck.
That was the same thing on 7th Street. You would have the guys sitting at the
Yeah.
the fences watching, flashing flashlights. and
Yeah,
shit,
like-
just hanging out.
So like, and those people all agreed to sign that same deal.
You
Like,
know,
we're
yeah.
here to race. There's no people around.
Yep.
If something dies here tonight,
It's the
So
two racers.
but
We-
like
we
the people that
understand.
race in town from stoplight to
That's
stoplight,
that's what I.
those are the
that's
ones
what
that
I
get
tell,
the bad
I
rap.
tell everybody.
Those are street racers.
And
Like, no, they're not.
that's what drives me nuts is because, you know, you get these two kids, like I've seen it multiple times in high school and like even after high school I see high school kids, they'll get their mom's cars and you know, they barely get cars or whatever,
Mhm.
and then they're leaving school and they start racing to the pizza joint for whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they don't pay attention that when
Yeah.
they go through that light, someone's agreed to go on their green light,
Yeah.
bow.
And then
Well,
when the
and
news
then-
covers it, they call that a
It's
street
street
race.
race.
Well, it's also the
And-
difference too. Like at the track, you have your walls and you have your 2 lanes. All your people are behind here. Street racing, you have people lined all the way
That's
down that
true.
road, and you lose.
But still, everybody that's there
I know.
knows what's going on,
Yeah.
and if they're there,
You know what you signed
have
up
to accept that responsibility.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but most people don't look at it that way. They're just like, I'm watching a race.
See, but you know,
Hell yeah.
but you know what's gonna happen though,
Mhm.
is okay. For instance, like my mom wouldn't do this because my mom knows what I signed up for. And she knows what she signed up for with letting me do this, and you know, at a young age. There's people whose parents don't agree with what they do, with doing this shit, right?
Mhm.
For instance, so now if you were to go street racing, Let's say we went to Mexico, your car versus my car, we agreed to do it on the street, whatever, and there's nobody in front, but you crash. We crash somehow and you die. Your parents are gonna go street racing, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But it's like, but Tony signed up for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now.
No, we're not talking about you as a grown man. We're talking about as
the
18,
people that do it.
kid.
They need to let the people in their life know, like, hey, this is what I do.
Oh yeah.
This is what brings
This
me
is my
joy.
choice.
And if something happens, I signed up for it. You don't need to sue anybody.
Well, yeah, that's what like my parents.
Well, I wish nobody ever did it. I love the track. I've loved the track for 22 years. I love it. It's my favorite thing in the world to do. I love the smell of burning tires and race gas.
For sure. That's what we.
I love,
you know what I mean?
like your brother that day. Or, you know, he had no idea what he was doing, and I pull out the time slip. Okay, well, this is a reaction time, and this is why you did this, and this is why, you know, this is how you read it. Because no man did that for me.
As I said, that's what the sport
Back in the
means.
day,
The
so.
more people we can get that do that, and not just, oh, you suck. You don't know what you're doing. Get off the
That's
track.
what I'm saying. Like
I don't think anybody would ever.
There's people that do
there's
that.
people
No.
that look down.
I
on them.
have never done
Yeah.
Every kid that I ever see that looks lost,
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I love that there are that people, and I wish there were more of that people.
So.
Well, that's what I said in the last episode. I think the last weekend's camaraderie, last event, was really dope. I thought it was really dope, and like I said, I don't know if it's because of the podcast, but even like next to the Powerline dudes, a lot of those dudes all ran PBs. I ran PBs.
Everyone's jumping up and down.
Caesar from Vicious Mentality with the K-Series with ITBs ran his personal best.
That's a cool car.
More power to, I was standing right there cheering for him, you know what I mean? And he was cheering for me when I ran mine. So, I mean, everybody was going for each other. And that was, I felt was really dope. And I think I told him the next day, I was like, man, I felt like depressed because it's like, I was on an adrenaline high that whole day. It just felt so good. And the next day, it's just like, bro, I gotta go to work.
Trained everything.
It's just like, but I was drained from, we went to Drag Race Nationals the weekend before that, came back and went to CMI the next weekend. So it was like, I was.
So that was your
straight
first
over.
road trip, right?
Yes.
How was it? How was the experience?
It was really good.
Yeah,
Overall, I'd say, like, if you were to ask me, like, would you do it again? Hell yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it. We had our pros and cons.
Yeah.
We learned a lot.
Can't bleed your clutch.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No.
No, I went to, so when the car got done, we did Reading.
I was
And then the
about to
next
ask
race
you.
after that, we did, I don't know if it was Racehorse Fontana or DRN Fontana. We went from boom to boom.
Yeah.
Then like 1 or 2 in Sacramento, and then another one back to Fontana. So I did 3 road trips that first year.
I was just about to ask you, with 22 years of racing, talking about road trip stuff, what do you think is the best event you've ever been to? Raced or witnessed?
Best race ever.
Like, event-wise, what do you...
Was, I think, Battle of the Imports 2004 in Bakersfield. Like people
and what made it so memorable to you?
For me, it was, I had gotten away from it a little bit. I had gotten this new group of people that were into it, and we all went together. And I met BC. We had the CRX. I met a bunch of racers that I always like, kind of like, I like Bergenholt, Batista, like all of us. Like to me, those guys are Joe Montana. Those guys are,
for sure.
You know,
Yeah.
Michael Jordan to me.
Yeah.
What was it? Actually, I'll revise that because that was the most fun. And back then, it was packed.
Yeah.
And it was a drag race.
Yeah.
And people were there to see drag racers.
Yeah.
And the other stuff existed too, like the car show and the bikini thing and the DJ, but that was all
that was the background.
Place
yeah, that wasn't
to the race. And like I was like, man, this is awesome.
And that was
And the racers were all cool, and they would show me this and everyone was like BC was towing that car with a Silverado with an Escalade front end. He wouldn't be caught dead driving that.
Yeah, that was a shit back then.
Yeah. And I didn't know there were guys like me that had PhDs and were chemical engineers. And he is a full-blown genius.
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah, he made his own fuel before making fuel was a thing.
yeah, he worked for Torco, right?
Yeah.
He was an engineer for them.
Yeah.
And then he has his own thing now?
Yeah.
Or something like
yeah,
that. But I was like, oh shit, man, these guys are for real.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't just a street racer. He happened to do that for a while, but...
That's like we've talked about in past episodes, I believe. I think 99% of the people all get their start in the streets.
I think, 100%.
Yeah, everyone.
I would be. I mean, there's probably a kid right now whose dad put him in a junior dragster, And then someday,
Oh yeah.
like those kids exist, but they're so few and far between.
And a lot of them, they get around it at such a young age that when they get older, they don't want to do it. I feel. There's some diehard
I worry
ones,
about that.
but there's some like if you were to like your daughter's 4, you said.
About 6 or 7, I'm gonna see if she wants to do it.
Start doing that, right? Okay, now you're gonna put it. Let's say she does, and all the way until high school she does it. I think it's either A, she's gonna love it and stay in it for the rest of her life, or B, she's gonna hate it and like not hate it, but just like I
the
don't
key to all
want to
that
do that.
stuff, whether it's racing, playing the trumpet, baseball, the kid has to want to do it. If it's forced upon you, at some point you always rebel.
Oh yeah.
Like me, like academics was forced upon me.
Well, that's why you let
And I was like,
it's
I
not
didn't take my SATs and I didn't go to college right away.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
like, screw that.
That's why it's one of those. Instead
when
of
college
saying,
calls you and says we don't want you to come back here, yeah, I can see
You
why.
gotta take a long look in the mirror. Fresno State says, you know what, you're too much for us.
especially when they're known for partying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I had to do a lot of
That's
soul
probably
searching.
why.
Right. He's probably the one that made that school known.
That's when I drank all the beer. There was a store by my house, they would keep a 12-pack of Mickey's 40s for me. They wouldn't make it through the week. So, I wouldn't recommend that, but that was my path.
So, if that was your funnest, what was your most memorable then?
And then the most memorable, I'll never forget. It was like 2 or 3 years ago at IFO in Bakersfield, and Ed Bergenholtz was going to drive Tom Jones' orange, that Pro Stock RSX.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the guys had told me like, oh hey, like, 'cause they all knew I'm like a super fanboy for the Bergenholtzes, and like, so Nilo, his motor from his car back in the day, 'cause he grew up down there, is the motor that went into their CRX.
Oh wow.
Oh, damn.
That's their motor.
That's cool.
Skip used to hang out with all the Wicked guys. Like, he knows them,
Yeah.
right? And so, and luckily Skip and Jordan were coming to the race. And I was like, do you think you can introduce me? I have a turbo and high-tech performance with the Bergenholtz CRX on the cover of it. I was like, I want him to sign it.
Can you sign this?
And I got so nervous, I didn't even get a sign. I just stood there like a dummy the whole time.
You still have that magazine?
Oh, yeah. Someday I'll get a sign.
I was gonna say, he's still driving Ghost Rider. You'll see him at every event.
If I see him, I'll. But that's the thing, though. Like, I love it so much.
Yeah.
And these guys are so important to me. Like,
Yeah, oh yeah.
But I don't know. That was the most memorable moment for me. Was I was standing there with the guy. I was standing next to Michael Jordan, talking cars,
Yeah.
talking racing.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is the coolest day of my life. Second to getting married.
Yeah, but
I was gonna say.
No, that one in there.
There was more
It's
for
probably
it.
Probably won't watch it. She doesn't.
You like how
If she makes it this far here.
you like how it's second to my marriage. Don't worry about my kid though.
Okay, third. That was the scariest day of my life. When my daughter was born.
He'll change everybody.
Yeah. Anyway.
Don't scare me.
Not scary,
No.
but in an instant, you go from being responsible for yourself to responsible for this thing.
Yep.
Let's stay alive.
Yep.
If
Yeah.
you screw up, it's gonna die.
Yeah.
That's a terrifying thought.
What's your favorite classes to watch? Do you prefer all motor over turbos, or do you prefer turbos over all motor, sport front wheel drive, all wheel drive now that that's out there? I mean, what is your
My
favorite
favorite
to actually watch,
is,
not just race?
My favorite is all motor,
Yeah?
and then sport front wheel drive, and then all wheel drive.
Yeah?
But I like watching index too. Like,
Honestly, I do too.
because that's been the thing that I've decided for me is, okay, this is what I can do. This is what I can afford to do. What?
I hate index racing.
I like all racing. I'm.
I
like to run it. I don't like
Okay, this is
it
what
to be there.
I describe it. Sport front wheel drive, all motor, and now all wheel drive are the bench press competition at the NFL Combine.
Yeah.
Who's the baddest
Yeah.
in this room?
Yeah.
Of course.
Index is the skills competition at the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Who can throw the ball in the hoop the most times?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who can
Yeah. I don't like it because in my opinion it's a crutch. When you go to like SAC, and I keep using this as an example because it's a good example.
Yeah.
When you go to SAC and you have Albert in the all motor car, his all motor class, he's 9-second car.
Yeah.
then you have all these other cars that are like, oh, well, I run 10s or I run 11s or whatever, and I'm all motor, but I don't want to be in that class now. I'm going to go bracket
So you
race.
keep going back to that one event, and that one event was set up different.
I'm just saying that's a good example. That's the reason I use it.
That was all motor.
Race Wars, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Normally, all motor is for the mom and dad cars, the regular cars, and then AMP.
No, I know.
They switched up, so all those other people.
But I've seen that happen
i.e.
multiple times.
Elias.
I'm the one that did that.
Yeah.
So like, I
Yeah,
saw
you were walking around
that
there.
nobody was telling these kids what they signed up for.
Don't do that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying,
like-
because that's like I said, my friend Elias with that CRX with the HB,
Mhm.
when he thought he was, because I told him go to the all motor bracket, because normally the all motor bracket
It's separate from turbo
is
bracket.
separate from the all motor pro.
Yeah, there's AMP.
Normally the all motor bracket is 1 and 2, and that's the
Yeah.
bracket class.
Yeah.
Right. So this
Always.
one, it turned into that. For some reason, at
There
that
was no
event,
all motor and AMP.
there was
just
no
all motor.
AM and then AMP. That became the
So
all
that's the
motor
thing
was the AMP
I
class.
have a big problem with when it comes to this stuff. Like, the track personnel have no idea about our Hondas, and they don't care to know.
No.
They just know that the track was rented. They're responsible for teching the cars
Yep.
and making sure that the protocol is followed
That was good.
to a degree.
Depends on where you go.
In Sacramento specifically, I will
We're
say
talking about SAC right here.
this is the experience that I've had in the last 22 years.
Mhm.
When a kid who's, say, 19 shows up with his swapped car that runs a 13.5, and the guy says, what class are you? And he says, well, my car's all motor. And they put all motor, and he lines up next to Albert, and it gets destroyed. Is that kid coming back?
Nope.
No.
That's
Yeah.
why I was running around and saying, hey guys,
Well, that's
is this
exact-
car
I
a
agree.
9-second car? Is it a 10-second car?
Well, no, that's.
And if the answer is I don't know, or it runs 13s, you might have more fun racing in bracket, or you might have more fun in index.
And
Yeah.
that's why, like, he was like Elias, like, and I'm like, no, get away from that, because I didn't want to deter him from that. I didn't want that exact thing to fucking happen. Especially if you go back and look, he ain't even really. It was his first time with that car, and what
See,
happened?
Yeah.
He should.
That's why I say
And that's my whole
I
motivation.
agree in that situation. But when you have people that are literally like, well, I don't want to do that because I only run a 10 here it's a 9. Well, you're close enough to him that there could be a misshift, there could be a spin, there could be a light problem.
I wasn't getting. That wasn't what happened.
Yeah, no.
But besides,
I was taking
okay,
legit bracket
yeah.
cars
Oh,
and
yeah.
legit index cars and getting them into the place where
Yeah,
they
oh, yeah.
belonged.
Oh, yeah.
I told
Okay.
Chris. and-
Let's be serious here. Not serious, but that day, you had Albert,
Yeah.
who was, besides Roper, the 7600 performance car, who else was close to that division?
Whoever is close to that division. All motor in California is horrible.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. There was nobody there.
There's
So
nobody there.
your argument is, that's what I'm saying, is like, I don't see
I
why
was
you
just
say
using
that.
him as an example because you can do the same thing with sport front wheel drive. Go look at
I thought you-
Fat Kid.
okay, so
no one's
now-
gonna run against him. No one's gonna run sport front wheel drive.
So,
There's,
I mean,
That's not true.
right now, Robbie's is not anywhere near him.
No, but besides, there's got to be a dozen people that show up for that class
That are
in the
near
ballpark.
Fat Kid.
Yeah.
That are near 8s.
I would say in that class, if you can run a 9.5, you got a chance.
But there's a lot of people that look at it that
That's what we said.
I don't want to do that because now they can go.
That's
you know,
on them.
That's
I mean,
their mo-
But I'm just saying that's how I look at
motivation or
index.
whatever.
I know, but
Yeah.
there's people that do that. So
Yeah.
that's why I shun away from index
And I'll
racing
race
because it's
those
a
guys
crush.
every time,
Oh yeah,
and I'll beat them all.
oh yeah.
Because
But
I built the
Look at me and
car.
smile.
No, if
I'm gonna
you're
get you one
if
day.
you're going down a division or whatever because you don't think you can compete, fine. But you got to race me, and you got to race him. This is what we do.
yeah, you gotta race you. But
I'm just saying, you got to race us.
Yeah.
And this is our thing.
yeah,
And,
oh, yeah.
and the thing is you have people like us. Like, see, like I'm using that as a stepping stone. I'm using game from you that I'm learning. Like, yeah, you kick my ass every time, but it's what keeps me wanting to come
You
back.
beat me, right?
No,
Oh.
because technically we've only lined up three
times?
times,
Yeah.
which it's motivation for me to keep coming back. And I don't use it like it's like negative energy, but it's a positive energy. It's saying like I don't hate you or nothing. It's competitive. I want to come back.
That's what
and
racing
come-
needs.
I want to race somebody that can beat me.
And that's like
I
I
don't
said.
want to race a duck every time.
No.
And that's like when I was in the statement that when we were the last time. Remember when I told you flip a coin for it,
Yeah.
and which totally shit, fucked myself.
It was actually me that said
But
this.
you won.
I won the coin toss.
Yeah, you
but I
got
won
the right lane.
race.
Yeah, I was the one that said this because he was like, well, Tony likes right line and I like left line, so let's just keep it. I was like, no,
But
get his
we-
head, flip the coin.
But we had made
Yeah.
the hit because we had the buy, we made the hit in the right lane because we'd been stuck in left lane.
Yeah.
That's why I came up to you and was like, well, what lane you in? Because I'm trying to find an advantage to get over on you.
Yeah.
So, and that's like, I was talking shit or whatever, but the other guys are looking at me like, oh, whatever. They're like, dude, I'm just trying to make it fun and competitive because if it's not like that, then you guys are all going to be turned by, let's say you're the king and you're up there just, everyone can't beat you. Well, I'm trying to knock the king off the throne.
Well, that was the same thing when you raced red. Everyone was like, oh, you can't treat him, you can't treat him, you can't treat him. And you treat him.
I treat the dog show.
You know what I mean?
And he can kill a lie.
Yeah.
It might not have been the day, but I still was able
that's the good.
On that day, you bested him.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's the drive that a lot of people don't have that they need to go after people like that. Don't be afraid of somebody that is the king.
And that's what I'm trying to help foster.
And that's what I told them,
get these kids excited, let them know you don't have to be the fastest.
Yeah.
You can be the best.
Yeah, I mean,
enjoy racing. Don't enjoy winning. Enjoy racing.
And that's what the thing is about me is I enjoy racing. I'm a 1250 car. I just love racing.
Enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and for you, you're stepping along, and when you get to all motor, you know, you'll already have the reps with the Pro Tree. You'll already have the staging. You'll already have all those things.
It's going to make me more competitive up there to go against Albert.
Once you have
I won't be scared to go up against Albert or Roper in those guys.
Yeah.
I won't be scared. You know, the only reason why I'm scared to go against them now is because my car's not competitive.
No.
Do you know what I'm saying? But still, to get to that level, you have to climb to the levels. I'm pretty sure Albert has a similar story where he had to climb levels like that, in a sense.
Yeah, everybody did.
That's what I'm saying. Like everybody, like I said
but that's why I said
everybody races.
There's a few people that spent how much money and they got the car and they went out and they didn't do well for a while and maybe they stopped or maybe they parted it out or maybe they, eventually got good at it. But there's a lot of people probably that just spent the money, thought they'd win.
Do you think that has to do with what we kind of talked in the last episode was about who you have around you in your team? Because you might have the wrong crew around you that you're not. If you keep having failures, you're not willing to change things or whatever.
Yeah, you have to be willing to
adapt.
What's the right way to put it? Accept the reality of your situation.
Yeah.
Accept reality in reality's terms.
Yeah.
If you're going out and you're doing this, what you think is the right thing, and you're not making the power or you're not making the shifts or whatever, you have to be open to a suggestion.
Yeah.
Someone that has done it. And luckily for me, I've always been that way. From the
you have
beginning.
Vince to go to. Vince is the one that you go to and ask questions and stuff, and and that's like.
And I don't tell him he's wrong.
Here we go.
If someone happens to have done it and they know the answer, you can't tell them they're wrong and expect them to help you again.
Yeah, and that's what we talked. It's like, dude, you gotta be willing to go ask for help.
Be coachable.
And ask questions, but also be coachable. That's like when I was picking up that stuff and I was talking to hobbies. Like people keep asking him for all this help. Now to the point that they wasted his time that he charged $100 just because people say, hey, what do you think I can do to make my car faster? I want to hit this time. Da, da, da. And he goes, well, you send me $100, I'll build you a whole build sheet.
Yeah. And then if you have me build it, I'll knock $100 off your build. Or
in a sense, like that, you know what I mean? But
contractors do that with build quotes.
How serious are you? You know what I mean? That's why
see someone's for real. You charge them for the quote.
Yeah.
And if you have them be the builder, you get $100. Whatever the quote is, you get that deducted from your bill.
Yeah, you can get that. Yeah, so it's like. But the thing is, the point is, asking questions. I don't know how I was going with that really, another brain fart, but basically
no, just having the right people around you.
Having the right people around you.
Full of shit.
Ask questions, don't be scared to, but be like what Rob Easy was saying was he'll tell somebody something, and then they'll go and ask this guy. Assholes, like what we talked about, and you'll come back and he'll go.
Ask as many people as you can until the guy tells you the answer you want.
Yes.
Is that what you're going?
Pretty much.
Yeah. But also, I like everyone's opinion.
Or go back and ask. I'll come ask you. You'll tell me something. I'll go ask him. He'll tell me something. Then I'll come back to you. Well, he told me this, so you must be wrong.
Yeah.
That's kind of.
That's the thing. I do like to ask things by committee. I'll ask Vince things.
Well, yeah.
I ask Skip a lot of things.
But you're not
I ask
gonna go
the people that I know that have done it.
But you're also not going to go back and tell Vince, oh, well, Skip said this, so you're wrong.
No.
And kind of and that's I'm going with what he said.
Or I might say, hey, this is what he said. What do you think about
that?
That's the proper way to do it.
There might be a middle ground of that answer.
Yeah.
So I was doing this stupid thing for a while. I got these cams. It's going to stage 1 tuner series for my car on a deal, and I got the XP valve springs, and I thought, okay, this will do it. And I told Vince, I told Chad, I told everybody what I had, and they're all like, you could do it, but it's not going to make you run 11.5. Not even close. And I was like, well, and I forget, I talked to one person, I was like, oh yeah, for sure. pick up 30 horsepower. And I had that moment, I was like, maybe he knows. So, but if enough people tell you you're wrong, you're probably wrong.
Oh, it's like that argument that everyone used to read, like, I don't even know if they still do, I haven't seen it in years, but you go on Skunk 2's website and their cams say, up to 30 horsepower. Well, this says I can make 30 horsepower, so I gotta be here. And yeah, you can make up to 30 if you add exhaust and
the bench
pistons, yeah. And you're just like, calm down. Like,
oh, believe me, I was heartbroken after that first dyno session with my car. I was like, what's a K20? And it's got this, it's got that. It's gotta make 250, right? And Edwin was like, no. What are you talking about? And I was like, well, what do you think? And I think he made lower. I think it was like 210, what he thought.
yeah.
And they made like 220 or 223 or something. And he's like, that's pretty good. You should be happy with that. I was like,
No.
No.
shoot.
No.
But I knew 250 was like the minimum. And even that's gonna be light for me because I'm 6'2", 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Like I'm bringing down the average big
Yeah.
time. So I gotta probably make 265 if I wanna run 11.5.
Yeah.
Since we were on the events and stuff, what do you think it's going to take to get more racers and to fill the stands?
Yeah, like how you said back in the day with Battle of the Imports or all that stuff. You said there was.
What are we missing? And
The
what can we do?
circumstances that went around. So in 2000, what was it? 2002 or 2001 when Fast and the Furious came out.
I think it was one.
Okay.
2000.
So in 2001,
Something.
people like us had been out racing for 7 or 8 years and doing it the way we're doing it. Small grassroots. There was no big money.
No.
There was nothing. It was just dudes in garages and small shops
Yeah, it was you and your neighborhood.
making it happen. And there were events, but they were pretty big back then too, though. Like those first battles, they were big because I don't know how they did that.
2001.
2001. So 2001 comes along, and then this thing that was like all our little secret, the thing we did on the weekends, the thing that our people at work didn't know about. All of a sudden, they see it on TV, they see the movie, and then all of a sudden, there's all these people that want to be a part of it because it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how commerce works. From like 2002 to 2004, the scene exploded. Cars went from running, I think 10s, maybe 9s by then, to running 7s in a few years in the pro stock cars. And it was cars that were paid for by the driver and their friends and their team were now being paid for by GM, being paid for by Mazda, being paid for by Lucas Oil. Like there were
The scene exploded at that time.
huge, and so when that happens, there's big marketing, there's big promotions, there's all these things that
It was then.
draw people.
Lisa
out.
hit her 7 in 2004.
Yeah, and this all happened blink of an eye, and they would fill Pomona grandstands. They would fill, these big NHRA facilities and people watching. But it was at a NHRA event.
Yeah.
So there was also Top Fuel. There was also Funny Car there that day. So it's hard to compare the two. But in 08, 09, when the economy tanked, all those race teams went away.
Yeah.
All those people now are back to having to do it on their own. But that was when drifting really started picking up. So that's when some of those guys shifted. Like,
well, I was going to say, what do you...
Sure, yeah.
They found this other way to make money in motorsport.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't really be mad about that.
No. Well, that's like when you talk about sponsors. What sponsors are now sponsoring? There's no sponsors anymore. Other than...
People ask me that. Why don't I get sponsored?
Your little guys, like Speed Factory or FCS, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your basic import sponsors. It's not like Lucas or...
No. It's not outside of the industry sponsors.
Yes.
And the sponsors used to be, you'd write a proposal and you'd get $100,000 of cash to run your program and you'd get the parts and whatever. Where now, like, if you get sponsored, you're going to get a discount.
Yeah.
If you get sponsored now, you might get a free manifold.
Yeah, you get a sticker and a...
Yeah.
You gotta put a big banner in it.
Yeah, no one's going to hand you 40 grand and say, I need you to go to this event, this event, this event, and this event, and I need you to be at this party.
That's how it was when you did your proposal. You said, I'm going to hit every IFO, or every Battle Imports, or every NOPI, and I'm going to place, so-and-so.
You have to show what the ROI would be to the investor.
Like, if you buy a competition clutch, because that's what I run, it comes with a sponsor's, a sponsored...
The decal?
No, how to
It
get
comes with the
sponsored.
stickers and it comes with how to get sponsored. So what you do, it tells you what to do. You have to put it in certain locations, have pictures taken at sanctioned events, send that in, and then they send you either a discount or like,
That's also partially why I'm considering the Sportsman Series, because they have a contingency thing. and they have a list of companies that are already part of it. So if you win the event, if you have Mickey Thompson tires and Sunoco race fuel and crane cams, and if you have them in the right place, there's extra money. So if the event pays out $600, you might get another $600 from the contingency sponsors.
Okay.
It's not going to pay for the program.
Do you have any $600? You don't have no $600 program.
A couple, but not. They wouldn't qualify me for anything.
I don't have anything
I have
of any business.
Clutch Masters on my car because, in my opinion, it's one of the best, and I like it. I've got Edwin's business, Edwin Tuned, because he's my tuner.
Wait,
Ground control.
I need a push performance sticker.
I don't know if he's gonna stick with that name though.
I have ground control sleeves on my car.
Barbershop tune, I need one of those.
Yeah, whoever.
Ground control's a local company, and I want people to know that's what I have.
Yep.
And then I have,
That's right.
I think I have Skipworks.
Okay.
So Skip is my friend.
No,
Skip.
or
And I put that on for, because he's my boy and he gives me advice.
I don't put them on, and I don't want to sound greedy or selfish, but
You gotta pay me.
I pay, exactly. It's kind of one thing in a sense of why,
I guess that's
not even on the shirts thing, but in the same sense, it's kind of the same thing. I don't want to, that's free advertising for him. You know what I mean?
But
But that's the way
the way
I'm
I
not
look
talking
at the
about-
advertising shirts, because I was actually just talking to Noel about this earlier, because we were talking about shirts earlier. I like to wear company shirts on our cast because it's supporting the community.
Yeah.
Even though they're not
That's all I
paying
wear.
you,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean,
it's supporting the community you're in,
it's-
whether they're paying you or not.
I'm just using that as an example.
I'm just saying that's the
Okay.
reason I do it.
Yeah.
It's not because
Yeah.
they're paying me,
No, yeah.
but I like to support what I'm trying to do.
I don't buy
Yeah.
that stuff, bro.
no, I think
Jason, he
Look,
needs a
look,
shirt.
This is my boy shirt that he makes. This is his company.
Yeah.
same thing.
And
You want to support the
I
people that support the thing you love.
yeah, exactly. He supports me and stuff. He actually made like my team's first shirts. He actually did all the printing and everything. So I support him. And I've always supported him since day one because he's had this since we were in high school.
Yeah.
This brand. So
Yeah.
I always,
I think that's the way the
But-
world should be.
the way I see it was
Spend your money
products.
locally.
Yeah.
You know,
oh yeah. Hell yeah.
Like Skunk 2, they have not discounts or nothing on my car or nothing. So why would I put that on there? They don't.
The only way
I'm just using that as an example.
I
But
disagree
you know what I'm
with
saying?
you
Like,
is
I just don't.
they make a thing that makes our little world go around.
Yeah.
And if people start buying the eBay version instead of the Tunk 2 version, our world's gonna get
I
worse.
get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
And-
So basically, like, if I had that Skunk 2 and I
And
had
there's plenty of people that say the Skunk 2
and
version is that version.
and
You
factory
look
sticker
at it
on my
this
car,
way.
they're gonna go, oh, well, Christian's running that, so, or, I should probably run that too in a sense. You know
Well,
what I
look
mean?
at it this way.
Instead of
Look
going off
at the
Yeah.
look at the QSD reason. QSD made a kit.
Yeah.
They were a company. Everyone wanted QSD everything, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden, X company over here copies the exact kit. Now where's QSD? QSD's gone. It's gonna be the same thing with every company in this.
Yeah.
World.
I mean, a company like Skunk 2, a company
Well, there's a little difference. They're huger, but
ground control, like there's some specialized stuff where even if you did copy it, there's enough people in the motorsport
yeah, oh yeah.
that know and that will support it.
But it's gonna.
even
It's,
that, it's not enough.
It's gonna.
Need some water.
It's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
How you want?
I don't know. I just don't see, like, just kind of like, with sponsors wise, it's like kind of
Yeah.
like, man, that's free advertisement for them. Like,
It's gonna hurt even the big companies though. It'll hurt them. It's not gonna break them. It's not gonna ruin their company, but they will fill them.
Yeah.
now, if QSD called me tomorrow and said, hey, put these stickers on your car, I would do that because I like their product.
Yeah.
What they have, because
Yeah,
everything's
that's my
QSD on my car, and I really like their product.
Yeah.
I only have one Skunk 2 thing on my car right now, and it's a throttle body fixer. I'm just using that as an example.
I'm not saying
You know what I'm saying?
should.
But you
I
know,
have the Grams injectors. I really like them. And
I should put a Honda sticker on my car.
I
Big
put
old banner of
I
Honda.
put the Grams thing on my car. And I like Clutch Masters. I like that they make parts for my car, and I put that on. And then I like ground control personally because, like I said, remember I told you my car got stolen?
Yeah.
So I won that race. I won those coilovers.
Yeah.
At the next race, they gave me another set.
Nice.
And they made a new trophy for me because my other one got stolen.
Wow.
With my name on it.
See, that's dope because
That's the kind of stuff like
and
I will
that's-
always
that-
have ground control
You
on my
just
car.
they just earned your loyalty
Yeah,
forever.
Well, that's like how
there.
Rob
And
was
that
saying
is
last
dope.
night with FCX. When he got into working with Jason, anytime he called Jason emails them, texts them, calls them, everything.
Sends them
Here's
a
how
whole
you do
build
this,
sheet,
how you do
install
this.
kit,
Don't mess it up. You know, it's support those that support you.
Yeah,
in a sense.
That's all it is. I mean, I agree to a certain extent that our cars are little billboards, and you and I are out there making it to the finals, and maybe somebody should throw a little cash our way. But that's not why I do it.
No, you're not.
No, that's definitely not.
If
I'm
that's
not.
why I was there, I would have quit a long time
I don't.
ago.
Yeah, I don't do this for the money whatsoever at all. I'm way too long.
If you were doing it for the money, get the hell out.
Yeah, you're not gonna become rich in this.
No way.
Yeah,
Even
not racing for sure.
Even
Even if you were to win every race, you're still not winning money because you look at the payouts versus what you're paying to build your car, go to there.
I won $1,200 this year.
Yeah.
I think I spent $3,000 just alone, just in RV rentals.
Oh yeah.
I spent, I don't know, a couple $100 on fuel.
Well, bam!
Oh shoot!
This is what we do to our guests. We beat the shit out of them on video.
I wasn't able to come back.
Right?
Yeah, so I don't require it. I might do it if someone came to me and said, "We like what you're doing. We'd like to offer you a part. We'd like to offer you a little cash." I would, and if it had to be a company that I agreed with and believed in, and it would have to be something that I would actually use.
I agree.
Well, I've seen that before. Where I actually had, who was it?
Why would you be sponsored by? I don't know what company. I think it was Ryan's episode. We talked about why would you run something like from a sponsor that you don't like? I forgot what it was. Like the way. Like if you don't use this product, why would you get sponsored by them? If like because we were talking about like using the actual M Factory, but then using the factory like sponsored.
I'm not.
If M Factory sponsored
I'm staying out of this one because I have an example to use and I'm not.
If M Factory sponsored me, but I used a factory Type R LSD diff instead of theirs, you know what I'm saying? Why are you gonna accept the sponsorship if you're not gonna use it?
That's where
and I know there is people who do that,
ethics,
but me personally, what we talked about was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that.
For me, I wouldn't do that either.
Yeah.
If it wasn't on my car, it's not going to be a decal.
Yeah, it'd be like you running a Clutch Masters clutch and having a comp clutch sponsorship.
Yeah, I mean, I like.
Now I know where you're going with that. Now I know where you're going with that.
The only
neither of those brands.
No.
The only exception to that would be like if a company was sponsoring the class.
Yeah.
Part of that was.
Yeah.
I remember at Chad's race it must have been 5 years ago now. I think Competition Clutch did sponsor the either the event or the bracket class. I forget. And part of it was you had to put the sticker on in a certain spot.
Well, see, okay, so when I did,
fine, but they're putting up the money for the prize.
when I was in the car show world, and it was either Blocks or Race Wars, because Race Wars was part of doing car shows.
Yeah.
They said if you're in our show, you have to have our license plate. They actually made license plates for every person in the show. So when they took pictures of the cars, their brand was on every car.
That's fine.
And they were like, for you doing that, you can, and that's the same thing. It's like, yeah, if they're putting the money up, if they're sponsoring this or you're getting something from them, then there's nothing really wrong with that. But if you are legit sponsored by somebody and not using their parts, that's
different.
Or bad-mouthing their parts even at that.
Yeah.
Because I know people that have done that. Oh yeah, go buy this, go buy that. Ah, well they suck, I don't even run them. What the hell are they paying you? Why are you telling everyone to run their parts?
There's people that did that?
Oh yeah. There's a big guy that's done that.
We talked about it last episode, which hasn't dropped yet, but no, did we name drop?
No, it was an edit.
Oh fuck. Yeah, we'll talk about it off air. Just because I don't want to promote that in a sense.
Nope.
Negativity.
Okay.
Drama and
Is it
shit.
somebody from the East
Drama and
Coast?
shit. Yeah.
Okay.
Drama and shit. That's cool. We can talk about it. Whatever. Like I'm no problem with that. But that is something that we kind of agree that we don't want to push on the show.
Okay. So if we want to talk about negativity and racing and all this, we can talk about this off camera. Let's bring it on camera now. What do you feel about the new classes coming in with Nitro? Outlaw, all motors, all-wheel drive, big turbos, small turbos, all this new shit that...
Are we talking specifically about, like, World Cup? Are we talking specifically about anything in particular? Or are we talking...
We can take it either way you want to take it. Whatever...
So, World Cup existed before most of us.
Yep.
And they did it that way, and it makes sense. I mean, 67mm turbos shouldn't race 72s, and you know, or I don't know. I don't know anything about that world. I'm an all-motor index car, and I'm never gonna know. But I do know about all-motor, and I do know about fuel, and I have done the research, and in my opinion, if you run any percent of nitromethane, that should be a different class than an all-motor car.
No matter B
call it whatever
series,
you wanna
H
call it.
series, K series, doesn't matter
Yeah,
what.
doesn't matter.
But it's
That's
not
interesting.
powered. People say it's just gas, just fuel. It's not powered.
We talked about it earlier.
Yeah,
but
but,
if
then you turn around and you go, well, why are you adding that to your car?
Yeah.
But if you break it down into molecules,
Yeah, the
Why
chemical
are you-
compound.
but why are you adding that to your car?
Go fast.
but why do you
To make more
go?
power,
But
right?
why do you
Therefore,
go?
it's a power.
But why do you go from pump gas to E85 or pump gas to C16, Q16, 100
That's a good
octane,
point.
methane? You know, you have all these.
And that's
Why?
where the people that are in charge of the races need to do the things to keep the parity, because, I mean, what TB did was incredible.
Oh yeah.
And nobody should be bad-mouthing him.
No.
And if
no.
they are, they're either jealous or they're not informed.
Yeah.
He did not break a rule.
Mhm.
He built a car that
Hit every rule.
you wouldn't, I mean, they probably didn't make the rule because no one thought you would do it because, well, that wouldn't be competitive.
That's what I was saying earlier. I don't
But he
think they
proved
knew.
that it could
I
be.
don't think that they thought. Like I said, I think they threw it
Yeah.
over their shoulders and said, "That shit ain't gonna happen," and it backfired on him, and he blew everybody.
Yeah.
When we seen him in Fontana, I knew it was gonna happen.
When I saw him,
even knew
when I
it was
saw him
gonna happen.
at IFO, I was like,
Fontana, he was fucking
he was
going.
flying. I was like I knew he was smart.
I got out of the car
I knew
and
he was-
went and watched that race, dude.
I
I
did
was
too.
like, bro, I'm gonna go watch this.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I've known something's been going on for like, I don't know, at least 8 or 9 years now. People have been doing something because the class will get to a point, like it did back in like, when 4-piston was kind of like pushing the envelope. And, not them, Speed Factory. What's the kid, the skinny guy? Sipes, Joel Sipes. He had a K-Series car, and they were pushing that class forward year after year. You know, 10-1, 10, 9-9, like all of a sudden, like they were the ones that seemed to be pushing it forward. And then a little bit behind them would be Jerry Bill, Leo G. These guys all of a sudden would start creeping up behind them by like a 10th, but they wouldn't get there. And I was like, well, they've all got, a piston is a piston is a piston. A rod is a rod is a rod. You can only port ahead so much.
You think so, but
Well, I'm just saying, if everybody has the same 15 to 1, everyone can buy the same stuff.
Yeah.
What's different? And then it had to be the fuel.
Driver, fuel.
Driver? Yeah, but
I
I
was
mean,
gonna say driver. That would be because if you're losing by tenths, I'm gonna say. Driver.
I know, but these are guys that have been doing it
Yeah.
longer
Yeah,
than
so
me.
they're- so they're
So I would, these are all expert
so
drivers.
we're taking the driver aspect out.
I'll take that off the table as a variable.
Yeah.
And then, well, what's different? There had to be something with the fuel. And then eventually people started to figure it out, and eventually, oh yeah, well, we're running M5, and oh yeah, we're doing this, and oh yeah, we're doing that. And then I feel like Jamie Marsh's program blew the scene up. Like was he the one that kind of made that first leap?
Yes.
I think after, but wasn't Periantu doing fuel stuff?
Oh yeah, people were giving him a hard
They-
time.
Norris has been doing fuel for a long
time, right? And
but
then the fuel rules came into play.
I think he was
No
doing
one
just enough to give him just a little edge.
yeah, that's all it was.
It didn't need to be what it. He didn't
And
need to
then-
run. What did he run at 8.6?
No.
Marsh.
What?
No,
Or
No,
8.7?
no,
What's
no,
that?
no.
No. Let's take it back because
Even
if you go back 2 years, because I remember watching it, he went 922.
Yeah.
And that was Jamie Marsh went 922, and they were like, holy shit! That's when he went 9.3, then he went 9.2, and that's when they were calling him the Moon Man and everything. And then they went into World Cup finals, and he ran 9.17
Yep.
in qualifying.
But didn't that all get thrown
Oh, no,
out
in testing,
eventually?
in testing.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
the truck
but-
turned out
but
wasn't
still-
the one.
But still, he was still holding the all-motor record because he still ran that pass, right?
Yeah.
So that's what they were doing. Everybody was running their passes at testing tunes or at
Right.
track rentals and everything.
Yeah.
So then it became the race for eights, right?
Yep.
And then I think Casper went 9-0 first.
Yeah.
Norris
And
was
this,
knocking on
this
the
is not how it
door.
used to be.
No.
When I was a young man, and when Bergenholtz broke the record. You didn't just do it on a Saturday when no one was around. It had to be in competition, and you had to back it up.
Well, that's how the whole.
And that's how, if you
Well,
wanted to
that's
go
what it
and say,
started
I'm
turning
the
into
fastest.
that. It started turning into that because they're going, well, can he back it up? Can he back it? Because then when Sonic,
Well, that's how Bellows was. When he went 864, they're like, that was a fluke. And then
And
he
he went
went, that was the very
864.
next one, went 864, and they're like, alright, cool.
Yeah.
he backed up, and not only
That's
like
how but it should be,
that
in
one
my
for
opinion,
sure.
in competition.
that
Oh,
one,
yeah.
no, he did
Okay.
because they changed the rules for that class. They had the Nitro all-motor class.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool.
Because they had more cars.
but separate it.
Because
You
you had the Preonzu camp, you had the Marsh camp with the Sonic car.
Well,
Marsh car.
it is separated now. There is.
Yeah, there was like a year or two
Yeah,
there. where it
I'm
wasn't.
talking about at the
Yeah,
beginning
yeah,
of this
yeah.
year when the transition
Yeah,
turned.
I think it's fine.
Because
I don't think they should call it all motor anymore, though. It's going to be outlaw all motor because there are such things as an outlaw car.
Yeah, but nobody knows about those anymore.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
that class is supposed to be coming back. Supposedly, I've seen a few people posting about those kind of
That would
cars.
be I'd be giddy like I was when I was 19.
Oh, I would love for
If
it
I
to
could
come
see
back.
those cars again.
Because you look at the technology we have now compared to then with that type of car.
I wouldn't even want to see it the way it used to be.
I'm just saying
Solid
that.
class, like the
I'm just
new
saying, if
Mentorship.
you think about
You're
that,
talking
though,
about like the Papadakis kind of car,
Yeah.
like Danny's
Yeah,
car.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Like
talking
the
about.
bully.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to see those cars race again and actually have a chance to win a little bit of money and.
Yeah.
But I am
But what sucks
the
about
minority
it
in
is
this world.
all those guys have to get together and bring it back. Because I know for a fact Danny doesn't want to come back because there's no class for it.
Yeah.
Norris said he doesn't want to come back because
Oh,
there's no
yeah.
class for it. There's a lot of people that have those cars still to this day, but don't want to come back because there's no class for it.
Isn't there that there's a red hatch that is still that they brought out? Softspot posted it, and I want to say it's a Marsh car, but it's
Oh,
not
no,
J
CLM.
Marsh.
Yeah, it's a
Oh, the
CLM car.
CLM car. That's right. Yeah, they're bringing that car back up.
Yeah, but
And-
there's no
and-
class for
yeah,
it.
That car
that's
is
it.
kind of like the Speed Factory car. It's
Yeah.
water to air.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like they
Bigger
can try to
turbo.
bring that class. That's one car they can try to bring back.
That class has
Norris
a
talked
better
about-
chance than any other class, I think,
Yeah.
because people like that.
But
Like all motor outlaw.
But that's why I said
Probably
it's
never seen it yet.
gonna take all of them getting back together to say, hey, we're coming back, so let's come back.
But
And
the reason
everybody's
those
gonna
happened
come
in the
back.
first place was because
Oh yeah.
there was money
Yeah.
to push it forward.
Yep.
And that money is gone.
Can we talk about a car that no one talks about? The
Sure.
black H22 rear-wheel drive K. I mean,
Ooh.
The EK?
Civic?
the EK. Yeah,
That car, we went at 6 something, didn't
he
we?
goes sixes. He's done it 2 years in a row, and
Well,
no
you've
one.
seen the new front wheel drive car, the new EK?
No,
There's
this is
J series front wheel drive.
which one?
There's a green EK that's
the
the
bullet.
yeah, that's the bullet car.
That's not new.
Kind
That
of.
car used to be
Yeah, I know, but
an H.
yeah, but he's now new with his J series setup and
Yeah. But that's what
Are
I'm
you
talking
talking
about.
about
Like,
that PFI recently?
Yeah,
posted?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, but I don't see why.
I'm just saying they're all odd.
Yeah.
but that
But
style,
that kind
that's
of-
the car we're talking
Dude,
about.
that's a one-off car, and he is fucking fast as shit on an H.
Yeah.
I mean, the turbo's bigger than my damn head.
But then you can't say on an H because
I'm guessing
Papadakis
that's
did his
a-
record
that's
on
a
an
tube
H.
chassis car.
I know, but I'm just saying, how come no one's giving any attention to that car? Like, I think that car is
Because
dope.
there's no class for it.
Well,
What
that World
class
Cup
is he
there
in?
is.
That would be the
Super
hot,
Street?
yeah.
What do they
But
call
it would be at World Cup. But I'm saying in a normal
At our races, there's nothing to do.
CMI.
Yeah, no,
it'd
there's
be
no
an
point.
exhibition car.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying there's no point in. I'm not saying come to us or whatever. I'm just saying.
But I'm
how
just
come
saying,
no one
every
gives
event there
attention to that
is
car?
because there's no events that run that car other than World Cup.
Well, you
He
can do it
does
at
he does
DRM.
he does 2 or 3
They can do
events.
it.
He does 2 or 3 events.
Race Wars could.
But
do
I'm
it.
just, they
if
could,
you had
but they
domestic
don't.
version,
But that's what I'm saying, they don't.
a front wheel drive.
What about
Wouldn't work.
the silver CRX, the one driven by a girl? It's a dark gray. My bad. It's dark gray.
Oh, the long wheelie bar.
Yeah, like that car. What class does that car run?
That would still be hot rod. Can't have a wheelie bar.
So doesn't she run that in? They let her run in the turbo class, the 67mm class,
Mhm.
because it's in that ballpark.
Yeah.
But it's not a motor car, isn't it?
It is, but it has the wheelie bar and it has
Yeah,
a tube front. I think.
yeah.
But that's what matters. 2 chassis wheelie bars,
Yeah.
1 piece
That's
front
why-
In
end.
that class,
Marsh
the cars like
and
that, I think.
Bello went into True Street
Yeah.
racing against turbo cars
Yeah,
because they
so-
had already
They are nitro. Yes, that's why.
I mean, if you go ahead, by all means.
no, I totally agree with it.
That's why those cars aren't around because there's no classes
Yeah.
event
But it's
wise.
crazy because you see so many. I wouldn't say so many, but there's. We just named how many. You know what
I know, but they're not.
There isn't more than there isn't more than a
scattered across.
yeah. There's not more than a handful of them.
I mean,
Where you go to All Motor, there's
But my
a
point
full class at every event where.
My point is, those cars are probably way more expensive to build.
Oh yeah, hands down.
Than like an Albert car.
hands
Like,
down.
you know, they're way expensive.
well,
So
I mean, Albert's car.
I'm
if
just
you
using-
paid retail, you're paying 50 grand for that car.
that's what I'm saying.
Maybe
but
60.
if you
Well, yeah, you're 12 grand just in a long block.
yeah, go to now look at the other car. How much do you think it's gonna cost? Way more than that.
That rear-wheel drive probably cost 100,000.
Oh yeah.
Oh, way
Between
more
the
than that.
chassis
I gotta
and the
say.
body and.
Well, he made everything himself.
Well, that's like Danny.
I follow
Even Danny's RSX, Danny said if
But-
he ever built one of those, he would never build it again. But he said if he ever built one of those again, that's a $50,000 chassis alone.
Oh,
you
for
have
sure.
to attach some value to your time though.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you build it, that's taking you away from making money elsewhere.
Well, that's like the old Murder Nova was for sale, and it was like for almost 100 grand, I think. Wasn't it like it was like 85, 90 grand? And everyone's like, well, it's a shit bucket. It's like, yeah, but you're buying the name, and look at all the work that's been done to that car.
That's all it is. You're buying it.
You're buying.
Yeah. But it's
I
just,
don't really know enough
the-
about that to
I'm just saying, like that car.
speak on it.
There's a few other cars that they sold, and they were selling the rolling chassis for 40,000. I see them. There's one Instagram page I follow that shows nothing but race cars, and they're selling rolling. Yeah, they're selling rolling chassis for 40 grand.
Well, I mean, a tube chassis Rick Jones car, that's not
Yeah,
40,
it's
it's 100,000.
Yeah, there's some that are even more.
Well, it's like
yeah,
going and
yeah.
buying a fucking Chris Alston's chassis works.
Yeah,
Chassis.
same thing.
Yeah.
It's really a chassis.
That's somebody who got divorced.
Yeah.
Gotta make some money.
Yeah.
So, what you're talking about, it probably won't ever happen again. I don't think.
We don't
Unless
have-
there's another spark.
I don't think we have the economy for that type of racing.
Yeah,
either.
the economy would have to do something, and there would have to be some spark to bring people from outside of the grassroots in, to want to do it. And Fast and the Furious is not that anymore. It's a weird action movie now. There would have
Hobbs and
to-
Shaw. Woo!
Yeah, like it would take some weird outside force to spark it. and
Hey,
make it happen.
it might come back because Fast and Furious 15 or whatever the hell's coming up next has Paul Walker in it again.
And
I know.
Cardi B.
It'd have to be something that makes our little culture seem cool enough to
No,
want
yeah,
to go
for
do
sure.
it.
No, I,
Oh, yeah.
People who wouldn't do it otherwise.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you and me, like we all are gonna do this no matter what.
Yeah.
I'll be that old man, like the old man that helped me the first day.
That's what I'm saying. I
You're
don't.
gonna be like the guy that says hack racing in the blue CRX. That dude's like 60
Yeah.
and still races every
Well,
event.
my thing is, I think like people like you, people like me, we can only attract so many people into the sport where they're gonna want to do it like us.
Yeah.
Whereas that was a whole, you know,
Yeah, it happened
everybody
so
thought.
fast.
Mhm.
And I just don't know if something like that will happen again. And in a
But
way,
see,
I kind of
okay.
don't want it to.
But here's my
I like
question
it
though
this
too.
way.
Yeah. But here's my question too.
But here we are
look
complaining
at
that the stands aren't full.
well look at
I
this.
wasn't complaining about that.
No, I'm
Look
just saying,
at,
like,
look at the generation though too. So like your dad or my dad or his dad or whatever were into hot rods, Chevelles, Novas, muscle cars.
My dad.
Is our generation now going to be into restoring Integras, S2000s, NSXs, Civics?
It's starting to happen.
You know what I mean though?
Those Type R's on like Bring a Trailer and stuff are going for $50,000.
That's ridiculous.
But that's the beginning stage
Yeah,
of
it is.
like
It
we
is.
wanted that when we were in high school. We couldn't have it.
Yep.
And now you've been in your profession for
But that's
20
what I'm
years
saying.
and you can get it.
Do you think that that might help the import scene at
It
that
could
too?
happen. It could be someone like me, like that idolize those guys and
Yeah.
reach out to like if Papadakis had that car somewhere still.
He does.
The yellow car's still around.
Okay, so I'm saying if
I
I
think
had,
it's in the automotive museum.
it was in the Peterson. I
It's
don't know if
not-
I
it is
watched a
anymore.
video where he went back over it recently.
Yeah,
He
with
does
the
it.
guy from Super Street.
And he went around the whole car and explained everything.
Yeah.
That
was cool,
That's
I watched
crazy.
that.
Yeah, that was the.
But there will be somebody like us who started a construction company and did
Oh
well,
yeah, we'll start buying all these cars.
and is going to go find him and say, "Hey, I'll give you $50,000 for that."
Yeah.
And then they're going to bring it out to a race. And they're going to race it. They're going to live out that fantasy they had when they were 17.
Yeah.
Like it will probably happen,
Now, do you
but
think?
that's not going to bring back the class.
Do you think there's still nostalgia in the import world to where you'll have like a Peterson museum that'll have the Papadakis car, the Kubo car,
I'd like to think so.
you know what I mean? You think there is enough of this world for that to happen now that our generation is
I mean,
the
just
muscle car
the
generation?
fact that we're talking about it, I think suggests that there are.
Yeah.
We're just three guys in Northern California. There's guys
Oh,
all over the country
We don't know where we are. No.
in an undisclosed location.
Right.
Yeah.
Shh.
NorCal's a big
I got
place.
yelled at for getting location drops last time, so.
Oh.
What did you drop last?
No, remember in the episode when we were talking about racing? And you're like, I said streets, and they're like, in Ryan's episode, you're like, I don't know about that.
Well, that's a little different.
Everybody knows we're not in
I think the ones I said are,
Yeah.
I know Austin Road doesn't exist because there's like houses there now.
Arch doesn't exist.
Arch is
Mountain
gone.
House doesn't exist.
Did you do the ones over like where the post office was? Off Arch Road? Like on the other side?
Where like
It's like an
DHL and
industrial
stuff
park,
is?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I did
Zephyr.
all
Place
that
was fun.
shit.
And then off of Jacktown, all those country roads.
Yep.
That was so fun.
Kind of. Well, that was like your time.
Really?
Down that way.
That's cool.
Like we used to go.
There, I'll tell you where we're going.
Okay.
Like we used to go cruise McHenry and then go hit out in the country
Bro,
and race after
I was the
McHenry.
king of McHenry in my old pickup.
Yeah. Did you have a silver Dodge pickup at some time? Because we used to make fun of that guy.
Oh, I got made fun of.
No, this dude literally would go out there, open header, and rev on everybody. Yeah. My buddy, after Fast and Furious happened, went and bought a brand new Eclipse right off the showroom floor, drove down McHenry, we would cruise McHenry every night, and there would be that little silver truck, and then,
we'd cruise and
Yep.
holler at girls and try to get races
Yep.
and get into a fight or two.
We'd always sit at Chevron right at the end. Park out along Chevron. My buddy bought a 2000 SI from the lot. Took all the plates off, all the emblems off, took the wheels off, put seals back on so it looked like an EX.
Was it black?
Yep.
Was his name?
Eric?
Okay, no.
Yeah, his name was Eric.
I knew a guy, it was an Asian dude, and he had
Oh,
a
no.
stereo shop in Modesto. He did the same thing. He put the SI wheel on his wife's like
Yeah.
green.
No, he took everything off. He made it look like an EX.
Yeah.
We took the SI wheels off and put it on my buddy's EG hatch. He had a green EG hatch, and they put it on that.
Another little funny story.
Wow.
So, what would that be? 2000. Must have been 2001. It was December of 01. I was at a friend's house. He had a house in Salida, and he had a '94 coupe. It was green.
What?
2 hours.
Oh shit.
Oh, keep recording.
Oh, I was like, what?
We can
I
cut
said,
some of
did it
this.
stop?
And we're back from a break real quick.
Short break.
Yeah, short.
Fat people need to wipe off the forehead, get out of water.
It's a little darker now.
You get ready?
Pull off a little
It's a
bit.
little lighter in here now. Do you remember where we exactly left off? I'm not sure.
It was at the end of it.
Yeah, we finished.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the whole point.
Let me just go a couple questions I got here. What's your favorite build, past, present, kind of thing?
Favorite build ever for me will always be the Bergenholtz CRX crazy front end. I liked the original front end version of the car. It was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen. It was what I aspired to when I was a kid. And to me, it's one of the most important cars in all of them. And then like second place would be the Papadakis hatch because that helped push the
the envelope.
whole thing forward, the tube chassis, like all that, and then I guess beyond that would be.
Find a picture of it, send it to me, and that way I can post it on there so they can see what we're talking
I'll
about.
take a picture of my magazine.
Yeah. Real quick, what's something that you don't like about the sport, / scene that we're in? Being that you're a veteran in the game.
Yeah, the thing I don't like the most is there seems to be a lack of information getting from the race centers, so the people putting the races on, the tracks themselves, getting that information out to the people who might want to check it out. Meaning, person shows up.
It doesn't really promote the event.
So does that fall on the tractor or does that fall on your promoters? Like Street to Track
It's
or
a little
Race
bit of-
Wars or...
Yeah, I think whoever's, so let's say Street to Track has rented the track, it is their event and they're putting it on. Having like a video series of, hey, new people, this is how you stage a car. This is what a time slip is. This is what bracket racing is. Like having like a series of things for people that were new could say, oh man, I didn't know I could do that.
Well...
Does that already exist?
No, but just an idea in my head. You have a car. We have a track. I have a camera.
I have thought of it many times, asking Tony if I could come like on a Saturday or something when there's no one around.
Go on a Wednesday fun run. Go on
Well, when
a
it's quiet,
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
actually like, okay, here, bring the car up, or take a spare tire and bring it up there with you and say, see how it starts, light the bulb, that's being your pre-stage.
Yeah,
Like a basic 101.
But that's what I'm saying.
That would get this information out, but it has to be in a venue, like a Sac Raceway put it out.
Yeah.
71 people would see it.
Yeah.
It's got to be somebody who's got enough people that they can touch.
Well, we got like 200 followers. Woo! No.
Well, that's kind of what this podcast.
That's what I'm saying.
That's kind of what this podcast
Yeah, I think that's
created for. Is that
it's a cool
and
way
maybe
to
we
get
can
us
do
there.
that and add some stuff in that and onto
Yeah.
our YouTube channel also. And like I said before, like I've talked about in the previous podcast, was like I went and watched YouTube videos, and like you're saying, the videos are kind of true.
They're out there.
There's
You
not
gotta
very
find them.
descriptive though.
Yeah.
They're still, me being that I've already been involved in the sport, I kind of knew what to pick up and whatnot.
Right.
But if you're coming from nothing
Yeah.
to doing that, it's not very descriptive.
I just know when you show up totally green and
Mhm.
you have a terrible experience your first time out, most people aren't going to come back.
Mhm.
Whereas if you have a little bit of information and you have an idea of what to do and you get there and there's some cool people there that'll help you,
Yeah.
you know, or like even if at the race, like say like, you know, they do drivers meetings sometimes, like I know Chris did one at the Race Wars,
Mhm.
where you had everybody come to the tower and you kind of covered a few things.
Yeah. That doesn't happen every
I
day.
felt like we
That
could have done a better
I
version
for
of that.
Sure need. I think that should happen
Every time.
Every time.
And if
But
anybody has a
it
question,
really
you gotta have the
didn't pay
confidence.
off though.
No, it didn't.
Billy Pan, first car back. No, Billy.
But his intentions were in the right place.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
100%
I think
sure.
if we do more of that, it gets better.
Yeah, yeah.
And we could even have somebody record it.
Yeah.
When you guys, if you have a chance, just be
Yeah.
like, hey guys, this is from the last meeting, you know, for the last race or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I think is missing, and what I love is, I love our track. I love Sacramento Raceway.
Me too.
I love that we get to go there and do this thing we like, and for the most part, it's all pretty civilized. Very rarely is there a, you know, anything that comes to any kind of a real altercation.
Yeah.
We're all there for the same
Unless you
reason.
beat me again, then I don't know. I'm just gonna
Put him in the wall.
change my own tire. Yeah.
But for the most part, everyone's cool, and you know, I like that. It's fun, and it's like a place I can bring my wife and my daughter, and not have to worry about what they're gonna see there.
Yeah.
What you got future-wise on the car?
Future-wise on the car is simple. The goal's always been 11.5, and I'm either gonna get there. It'll be a combination of shedding more weight and adding a little horsepower. Removing the factory fuel cell and going with our fuel tank and going with the fuel cell will shave me a little bit of weight, a little bit more Lexan in the back and the quarters in the rear.
Yeah.
And then if I can find a way to pick up another 25, 30 horsepower, whether it be head package, what'd you say?
Nitromethane.
That actually was my first thought. I did go down that road with a couple people. That dude from San Jose, Dino Spot, I think? Lawrence?
What, Lawrenceville?
Or Lawrenceville? Yeah, I messaged him, and it was pretty straightforward. You're like, yeah, it'll do it. You can get there, but this is what it means. Like, you got a full-time job now with this car.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, I'm not about that life.
Drain fill.
Yeah.
What keeps you motivated? I mean, you've been in here since, what you said, 22 years almost?
22.
Yeah, that's 22 years. What keeps you motivated, man?
All right, what keeps you coming back?
For me, it's just
Whooping my ass?
actually yes.
In a sense.
And when I mean by that is, I've always been very competitive. I played a lot of sports. I started playing soccer when I was 5, football in high school, basketball since 3rd grade, and I've always been the biggest, strongest, fastest. I've always been the man. And
So what the hell got you on drag racing then? Because you're 6'2", 300 pounds, biggest,
I was
fastest guy.
I
That
was
was great for
small-
sports.
I was the
Racing,
underdog
you
small
want to
guy.
be.
so, what I found was, and that's why I love bracket racing.
Yeah.
It was a thing where I could get good at this thing. I could have my competitive outlet, and I could do it in a productive way, where I wasn't doing anything illegal, and I would get that sensation like when I would win a football game or get a sack or whatever. Now that's when I go rounds. I get that. I get to
Yeah.
Yeah, you get
release that energy that otherwise might be unproductive. I get to do it there.
Yeah.
And I love the people. Like my team, LightSpeed, like when I die, there'll be a LightSpeed sticker on my casket, and they're gonna carry me to the ground.
Nice.
I don't know who's gonna be. There might need to get 7 or 8,
Right, I was gonna say.
9, but whatever it means, that's how it's
I was
gonna
like,
be.
I'm paying at the next CMI to watch Chris pick you up.
But I mean, that's what, I found my home, I found my community, and I love everything about it.
Cool.
Let's see, what else? I think we pretty much covered a lot of these already.
Oh, you lost it.
We kind of
Oh,
covered
craziest
the story.
story.
We kind of covered that.
Crazy story.
Was there any race that like you like a
Most-
side by side race or anything like that? It was like, oh shit, that burned in your memory in a sense. That's kind of what we asked, right?
Oh man. I wish I could say yes. I had a lot of head injuries playing football. Like, I forget a lot of things.
CTE in the works.
A little. Like, I don't think I'm, but I do have a little bit where I don't really have like, I remember the feeling of it. I don't remember like the specifics of it.
Yeah.
But like what we just saw.
No, but anything that
Like
that's
that
something visually
TV
too.
winning that race, I thought that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I mean, he outsmarted him,
Oh yeah.
and sometimes that's all. I mean, being slick is being better than good sometimes.
Yep.
And he was slick. I think that's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, is there anything else that you feel you want to touch on? You want them to know? You want anybody to know?
Give some shout outs. Thank yous.
All right,
that whole
right.
thing.
Thank yous, Team Lightspeed, Chris, Red, Vince, all the guys. Made a lot of this stuff happen. Obviously my wife, my lovely wife.
If she made it all the way through to this one,
There's
that's
no
a
way.
rare one.
Right. He's gonna fast forward through
Thank
the video.
you to
Babe, look at
Wait, watch
this.
this. He's gonna find all his little sparks.
Tony Trimp and the family that runs Sacramento Raceway. Thank you for always giving us this place that a lot of people don't know. They've been putting on import races for 25 years,
Yeah.
30 years almost.
Yeah.
There's no other track, I don't think, in the country that has been putting them on 4 or 5 a year
Yeah.
that long.
Yeah.
I bet there isn't.
I don't know.
Mhm.
And we're so fortunate to have this thing here that other places don't have. Like I said, on the East Coast, we're kind of jealous of their scene, but they got to go from New Hampshire to Maryland to, I don't know, where else do they race?
But that's kind
New
of
Jersey.
like,
Florida.
isn't it kind of like more like going to LA for us?
Yeah,
Vegas.
but we don't have to do that. Like
Yeah.
we get to go to a place,
we're right
the same
here.
place,
Yeah,
an hour away or less, 4 or 5 times a year. Like other places, they don't get to do that.
you're right.
So we've been kind of spoiled. And
Well,
I
'cause
think
they
that's
also
cool.
lost a big track too. What track did they lose?
East Coast, oh, they lost
Echo, wasn't it?
no, they
not
lost
Echo.
Englishtown.
Yeah, English.
English
There you go.
track. And I know that was like the big track.
That
And it was
was.
a big hit for them.
Yeah, the
that
New
they
York
lost that.
metro area, that was
Mhm.
the one, and they lost that. Now
And that's how it's gonna be here when we lose. If
If
we lose
Sack.
Sack.
that'd be heartbreaking.
For sure.
But well, Reading's up there.
Well, it's gonna be just like them when they lost.
Sonoma exists. If we come at them from the right direction, we might be able to get some dates.
Well, if we lose Sack, you're gonna see a lot of import races trying to make that happen.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
and I've already decided, like, if it does go that way, I'll probably kind of change my program a little bit to be just a bracket, NHRA Sportsman Pro Class. It's not what I wanted, but
And you gotta progress
It'll-
times.
I know I'll have to really get better because those guys don't play.
No?
And then next season, I'll hit all the CMIs. I'll hit Race Wars in SAC, hopefully Race Wars in Fontana, and then DRN wherever he puts it on, whether it's Fontana, Vegas, Bakersfield. I mean, I don't think he has anything locked down yet, but wherever that is, I'm gonna try to be there. But
So,
what did that be? 4, 5, 6, like hopefully 7 races next year.
cool.
Any other
Oh,
shout-outs?
Edwin Tuned.
Hey.
If you're coming back to California, I'd love it. If you're not, Godspeed. Good luck.
All right.
And I hope everything goes well in Nicaragua.
Thank you for everything you did for
Thank
his
you for
program.
everything. Because it
Well-
really made a difference to me to have someone that I could call and text, and he made sure that the car was good. I didn't show up and just completely crap the bed.
That's a good tuner right there.
So,
Yeah.
shout out to Edwin. And, Vince. He gets extra.
Right.
How you gonna forget about the one guy?
How you gonna not say they get a bag?
Vince, extra shout out. He's on Instagram, NA_nocturnal.
Link it down.
I mean, he's not going to build your car for you unless you pay him, but he's the man. He's got a lot of good advice, and this whole thing wouldn't happen without him. So I really appreciate it.
Cool. Was that it?
And thank you guys for showing up and letting me
Thank you for
let me get those wins.
Yeah, man.
I didn't let you. Alright, man, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you.